says, "Mijo, something's gonna blow." Flags fade on the old hotel, tourists drink their rum and go. Radio talks into accents about a brand new vote. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, stars and stripes in the Caribbean. Same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Busted barrio, kids swap caps, argy calls. One says soon we're buying hot dogs in a big new stadium wall. Street band plays old boleros, slides into something strange. A pledge in a different language, but the hope feels just the same. In the Caribbean, same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, side by side on that banner we run. From Havana down to Key West, we rise as 51. Dust on the truck bed, mile after mile. Fields stretch out wide like they got a mind of their own. Red sign at the hall, coffee gone cold. Everybody talking with a fire in their bones. Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October is coming and we want something more. October 19th, we're standing up. October 19th, we've had enough. Alberta singing loud, let the whole world hear. October 9th, freedom's here. Hard hats on hooks, checks run thin, hands on the ledger and the same old grin. From the shop to the rig, from the barn to the street, people keep asking, what do we believe? Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October
to the NPC show. Deprogramming the world one NPC at a time. I'm your host Frank. Today is Friday, June 26, 2026. Good morning to everyone. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. We don't have that long of a show today. We do have quite a bit of a watch party though. Ooh, Diane just renewed her membership. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Diane. Renewed her membership. She says, "Good morning, Frank and friends. Call your senators." Yes, for the Save America Act. It's sad that that's still being held for hostage right now. Thank you very much, David Stores, for the daily morning donation. David Stores, thank you very much. And by the way, tomorrow is his son's birthday, Joshua Stores. Happy birthday, Joshua Stores, tomorrow. I know I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. We'll celebrate again tomorrow, but no one's birthday is today, so we're celebrating yours today. There we go. Happy birthday, Josh. And thank you again, Diane, for renewing your membership. You are the best. The best. What is this one? Oh, we got more fraud. Let's add that to the show. Okay, yeah, well, that's not bad. We've got a shortage of a show today. Arizona, huh? Arizona is getting caught. Getting caught. Ooh. Okay, so that is so it is going on then. That's interesting. So I thought that was just FUD, but no, it's actually happening. We're still firing down Iranian drones. That's still a thing. Bizarre, because oil's still crashing. Yeah. Oh, that's an even better post. Let's go with that one. Okay, cool. Well, so we got confirmation on that. Hello, guys. Good morning. Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, Mary, Bendy, Kim. Good to see you, Fearless Patriot. Fire Truck. Good to see you, Danny. Moose Mansmithy. Good to see you. Let me pin that real quick. Hello, Lisa. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here. Oh, Joshua is here. Look at that. Barry, Joshua, Rhoda, David, Sherry, Music. Good to see you. Carrie. Hello to you. Patriot 626. Lisa, Sherry. Random Yank, VZ, good to see all of you. Good morning. Hello to everyone over on the Rumble side. We got Dixie, Mary, Josie. Let's see. Casey Super Trucker, good to see you. Hello, Shady J. Spectre Nation, hello to you. 18 Delta Music. Josie Bug, hello to you. Good morning. Hello to everyone over on Foxhole. We got Swickly with a donation. Thank you very much, Swickly. Thank you, buddy. Ron L. Witt, good to see you. Stephanie Sprague, Ghost Rider, Seaver, good to see all of you. Good morning, and thank y'all for being here. We have a yeah, so there's a documentary. It's not really a documentary. It's a movie that was banned in Germany that I want to show. We're gonna save that for tomorrow though, because it's Friday. No one's here. You guys gotta see it, okay? I've already ripped it, so don't worry. We're not gonna lose the freebie. What is this? Okay, cool. So that's, oh yeah, so yeah, we'll save that for tomorrow for a number of reasons. One, we have a speech Trump gave at the Rose Garden yesterday, and then we also have, he's gonna be doing a speech live today. For the Great American State Fair thingy. Great American State Fair thing that they're doing. They're doing more speeches today. And so we're going to be watching that at the end of this show. So we're going to hold off on that documentary till tomorrow. But yeah, there's a documentary that Germany banned. And so as a result of it, because Germany banned it, Elon just went ahead and retweeted it on Twitter. And it'll be on there for like 48 hours. But I already ripped it, so we have it for tomorrow. But yes, we're gonna be watching that tomorrow. It's called Vigilante Citizen. Okay, I believe something about a U.S. citizen going to Europe, seeing that it's being taken over by Islamists. So then he starts like a vigilante group to start slaughtering them, something like that. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Obviously, can't watch it on YouTube for obvious reasons, but we will watch that over on Rumble tomorrow. Rumble and Foxhole, obviously, everywhere. Well, everywhere but YouTube. How about that? Including Getter, including Odyssey, including Kick. I forget all these places I stream to. I forgot about all of them. Anyways, thank you everyone for your donations this morning. Hello, Bradley. Hello, S. Renee. Max Saints, good to see you. Hello, Jerry, Electric Eye. Good to see all of you. Anywho, Jimmy, thank you for following over on Rumble. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get going. Let's see. First order of the day, the Supreme Court yesterday didn't just give Trump a win in ending TPS for Haitians and Syrians. They ruled that courts also do not have the authority to review TPS at all. So never again should we see a lawsuit about this TPS crap, okay? Remember, they tried to jam up our courts, okay? They tried to create one new case for every single TPS person we wanted to get rid of, okay? That would have jammed up our courts for like a decade, and we would have never been able to get anyone deported. They have reiterated here that the courts have no say in this at all. Supreme Court, bottom court, all of it, none of it, okay? So, but again, these activist judges will continue to do this, which is why all the red states need to step up and start impeaching these guys. Okay? We don't need the, I believe it's a state, if it's a state judge, you can do it at a state level. You don't need the federal, you don't need Congress to do it for you. But they're just sitting on their hands. They're like, oh, we'll wait till it's a problem. Yeah. So you're going to be like Florida and wait until a judge declares that a lady who drowned her daughter just because she don't want to deal with it anymore is innocent because, oh, COVID was tough on her. Oh, okay. So that's A-okay now. So you're going to be reactionary. You're going to let children die until you actually do something about these activist judges. I'm telling you. Republicans are just too lax, man. They're just too chill.
The secretary's determination regarding designating status, removing the status, or extending the status. And the language is very clear. And so Justice Alito wrote the opinion, and he said that basically all of the arguments that the litigants had weren't even, quote, sound, because they don't even have the authority to review what the secretary has determined on that.
The precise numbers are up for debate, but they're somewhere around or
Have the authority.
Good stuff. Torque Ranch says hello from Oklahoma. Yes, Oklahoma, great state out there, man. From where Mark Wayne Mullen's from. Nothing but good senators, nothing but good representatives, unlike Kentucky. Yes, Oklahoma, by the way, the #1 growing economy in the country right now. It used to be South Dakota. It used to be South Dakota until Kristi Noem stepped out to be DHS secretary, right? And now they've kind of, I think, taken a backseat to Oklahoma. But good stuff. What a great state. You guys should look into, there's YouTube videos about Oklahoma's highway system. I think every highway is a toll highway because they don't believe in taxing people to pay for something that most people don't even use in Oklahoma. So instead of actually raising taxes, using tax revenues to pay for the maintenance of these freeways, they use the tolls to pay for it. And now, because the construction has already been paid for, now they're just paying for maintenance. The toll is like $1 to use it. You know what I mean? When some people, they might buy groceries, like they might leave their house, buy groceries once a week, so it'll cost them $1. As opposed to like, oh, everyone just pays 1% sales tax on everything for the highway, and it's just like, I don't even use that thing. Yeah, I use DoorDash, right? So Oklahoma's got a very interesting little financing model for a lot of their infrastructure out there. Anyways, next story. Mamdani just promised to shield Haitian and Syrian migrants despite the Supreme Court ruling saying their legal status can be terminated. So I got an announcement to all the Haitians and Syrians in the country. You should move to New York City. You're going to be safe there. You want to leave. You want to leave Texas. You want to leave Ohio. You want to leave Pennsylvania. You want to leave New Jersey. You want to leave every state in the country. You want to all go to New York City because they will protect you. Okay? They wanted this. They voted for this. They wanted this. I want to see the Haitians and the Arabs get along, And by get along, I mean slaughter each other. Yeah. What a dumb guy. What a dumb mayor. Huh? Holy crap. Good luck with that one. Yeah, concentrate them all in one place so Homan could just pick them up real quick,
Judges came back and said that it would be cruel to end it, that they need these protections. One of the federal judges even accused Kristi Noem of being racist for wanting to overturn these protections. So,
and remind us what we're looking at here.
This was Del Rio, Texas in September of 2021 when we had about 15 to 20,000 Haitians crossed the border illegally and just set up camp under the international bridge there. I was there. It's probably in the 4 years of border coverage, the craziest thing I ever saw. And again,
but you also pointed out to me that they might not have been allowed in under TPS or allowed to.
So the thing about this is most of these people weren't coming from Haiti. Like I've posted all these pictures all along the riverbank. There were discarded passports, IDs, paperwork. Most of them had been living in Chile, Peru, and like Brazil.
Haitian people after the earthquake.
Yes, they were not coming directly from Haiti, but they got rid of all these documents and like these work permits from Chile because they didn't want U.S. authorities to know they had resettled in another country before coming here because it would hurt their possible asylum case.
So in other words, a lot of these Mexicans were coming over claiming they're from Haiti because Haiti is the one where, you know, the president got killed and then there's like a big civil war out there and then the new leaders are eating people, right? So they all claim that they're Haitians and now all of a sudden, yeah, y'all got to go back now. See ya. Yeah. Who do you think would win? Put a 1 in the chat if you think the knife-wielding Islamists would win in a war. Put a 0 in the chat if you think the people-eating Haitians, the cat-eating Haitians, the dog-eating Haitians will win that war. Yeah. I got my money on the Haitians. And we could use a little bit of cleanup in New York, right? We got too many terrorists winning, right? Next story. Let's go check out the poll. Wow, so a lot of you think the Arabs would win that one, huh? Wow. I got my money on the Haitians. Those guys are insane. Never count out a person willing to eat you. Because that's food, right? They're hungry. Yeah. It's like hunting. But people, you know? That's a mismatch of ones and zeros, but mostly ones. Eric says 1 makes things go boom. Here's the thing, though. They live there now, right? They live in New York. They're the New York majority now. So would they be blowing up their own city? That's a whole nother thing, right? We're talking about cramming them all into Manhattan, which is what Zohar Mamdani wants with that little announcement he's got going. Wait till you see the other announcement. We're gonna see a ramp up of these little exit fires I keep talking about. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. Tom Homan this morning did a speech over at the Freedom 250 event, and he says that they're going to be ramping up an additional 10,000 agents. Yeah.
We had a record historic year with deportations, but now we got 10,000 more agents on board, or it should be on board by the end of next month. Wait till next year.
Yeah. Wait till next year, he says. How about this year? Next story. President Trump announces that the average. Okay, so do you know the peak number of deportations that's ever been in a single month in this country during his second term? He is currently averaging that every month. We're deporting that many. Yeah, good stuff. He wrote that right here. It was just announced that I am not necessarily thrilled to be talking about it because it does not exactly sound nice. Capital nice. The Trump admin has the highest average daily arrest rate by ICE and CBP, including total detention with final orders of removal, than any other president by far. This probably has something to do with the arrest of the group of anti-ICE protesters or anti-ICE radicals that were planning to attack the ICE facility. Remember that? They arrested like 16 of them or something like that. Or was it 8? Not 8. 8 was the Antifa attackers in ICE facility in Texas. There's another one in Minnesota. They arrested like 12 of them or something. I remember it was a 2-digit number, but it's very low, like in the teens. But yes, I think it's because of that they're no longer blocking ICE. So now these detentions are ramped up like crazy. The pending final orders are being seriously delayed by the courts, but that is also a record. President Trump has the highest 12-month removal total so far by any president, despite the fact that they fudged their numbers by including people that never even tried to come into the country. Likewise, the average daily catch and repatriation is by far the highest under President Trump. No other president comes close. Yeah. So when you hear these anchors, pundits, Democrats, and communists try to make the case that President Obama's numbers are comparable to Trump, it would be nice if people like Milk Toast Shannon Bream, he's trashing my gal, and others would put up a little fight, just a little. Thank you for your attention to this matter. But Shannon Bream's so pretty, though. You can't expect her to fight. Come on. She is, really. Anyways, she's gonna age so well. Yeah, so there's that. New record in deportations. Trump's DHS is doubling down on removing TPS Haitian migrants from America after the Supreme Court ruling. They state here the T stands for temporary. Temporary, which means you're temporary garbage here. We're going to remove you eventually. Temporary.
Well, frankly, this case never needed to go to the Supreme Court. It's a very straightforward legal issue. The T in TPS stands for temporary, yet many of these designations go back decades. We have designations from 1998 for Hurricane Mitch that we're still trying to get rid of. But to answer your question, President Trump has been trying to end these programs since 2017. So these people have been on notice for 9 years that this day is coming. So what we would say now is it's closing time, which means you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The good news is it's not too late to get a $2,600 check and a free flight home.
Ooh, that's still up for grabs, eh? Next story. The Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is being praised nationwide for this based line in his opinion. This is his opinion yesterday, talking about ending TPS and whatnot. Okay, here's a very key to what he said. He says, I join the opinion of the court in full. I write separately to address two more fundamental problems with the MIOT respondent suit, the MIOT respondent suit. First, their equal protection claim, while meritless under the court's precedents, was also beyond the district court's jurisdiction. So not only is it meritless, it's also not something, it's not in their jurisdiction. They have no say in it, okay? Second, even assuming jurisdiction, the equal protection claim fails for the additional reason that aliens have no equal protection rights against the federal government. That is a big one, okay? This idea that illegals from other countries who are not even supposed to be here can just come in and start suing us. Yeah, you can all fuck off, okay? We're all sick and tired of you. Holy shit. See, what did he say here?
Death. That devotion has driven the great achievements and heroism of Americans in the 250 years since. Think of the frontiersmen who settled the West. Think of the families who built their little towns on the prairies. Think of the women who raised their children to love God and country and sent them off to fight wars. It is a devotion expressed in the final sentence of the Declaration, the willingness to do anything for our principles that has throughout American history been most indispensable. It is that devotion that we are missing today and that we must find in our hearts if this nation is to endure.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas putting a spotlight on America's founding principles in a powerful speech.
Boy, they gotta get rid of Katanji quick. Next story. Stephen Miller calls on the Supreme Court to do the right thing in terms of birthright citizenship. Yes, that ruling is still coming up, I believe, Monday. I was hoping today, but it ain't today. It's going to be Monday, I believe. So that's a big one. I hope, I was hoping, you already know what I'm hoping for. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get it.
30 seconds of American history understands the Reconstruction Amendments after the Civil War were to ensure that the children of slaves would be franchised in the United States. The author of the 14th Amendment was clear in saying it did not apply to aliens. There's
look at that. Did not apply to illegal beancake McGee's. The Mexicans.
This should be a 9-0 ruling in a functioning democracy. The idea that you can have a country where you just set foot on U.S. soil and any child you have gets to be an American citizen and vote in our elections, collect our welfare, sit in our juries, sit in judgment of our fellow men and women is such an outrage to the idea of having a country. It defies the scriptures. I don't know what they're going to do, but here's what I can say. If this country doesn't, one way or another, end birthright citizenship, this country doesn't have a future. Citizenship has to be sacred and precious. And as we stand here on the 250th anniversary of America's founding, the idea that we wouldn't have in this country respect and sanctity for citizenship, for the voting franchise, is such an insult to generations of Americans who spilled their blood for our freedom.
Good stuff. So hopefully we get a good ruling on Monday. Next story. Massive fraud in LA healthcare fraud. Not LA, Las Vegas. Massive fraud in Las Vegas healthcare fraud ring has been busted by the Trump admin. Criminal charges brought. What is this about?
When you see a doctor, nurse, or any medical professional, you expect they'll do what's right and only bill you for fraud, costing taxpayers billions and rampant facing charges, including, we discovered several Nevadans facing charges, including Marizel Yuki, a 49-year-old nurse practitioner who court records say ran mobile wound clinics in 4 states. The indictment details illegal bribes, kickbacks, and the targeting of elderly patients in a $906 million scam, defrauding Medicare and the military's TRICARE with medically unnecessary skin grafts.
She was performing these skin substitute procedures on vulnerable elderly Americans in hospices and in nursing homes.
Oh, that's crazy. You guys know that there's a lot of doctors out there, especially if you're white. You go in there and you have, oh, you got a new mole. Is it bad? You should probably look it up on the internet whether it's cancerous or not, because what they're doing is they're panic. Oh my God, that's gonna come out like right now. Yeah, and then so then guess what? They're slicing little pieces of your skin off to make some money when it was perfectly fine. It's a normal mole. Secondly, stay out of the sun. You're Europeans. You're not supposed to be tanning. Seriously.
And then submitting those claims.
Don't let Hollywood tell you, oh, you're pasty. Okay, no, that's something they did to make you ashamed of your light complexion. That's bullshit. Koreans and Japanese, you know, of all countries, Korea, #1 in skin bleach sales. They're already light skinned, but they want to be even lighter because it's beautiful. Yeah. Who wants to look like Candace Owens? Blah. She's like the best looking of her demographic. And she ain't even like, her eyes are like on the side of her face, huh? Look at that. She's looking at everybody at the same time.
She was using human beings, American citizens, as living piggy banks, and that she took the money she got from those living piggy banks and she bought $865,000 necklaces that the department seized. She bought a almost $500,000 Ferrari that the department also seized.
Did she buy the electric one? I'm guessing not, right? You guys seen the electric one? Holy crap. The marketing manager for Ferrari just got fired yesterday because of the electric Ferrari. Yeah, it looked like a Nissan GTR, an $80,000 sports car. It was a Ferrari. Probably slower, by the way, than GTR.
Investigators say Yuki also used illegal profits to buy a $1 million home in Hawaii and build a $4.5 million beach resort in the Philippines. Prosecutors claim she falsified patient files to make those procedures appear necessary under Medicare rules.
Wow, look at that. Another dark-skinned country coming into this country to do fraud. Looks like you guys need to start getting rid of those roaches as well, huh? Oh no, hold on. The sea Mexicans. What do we call them? What do we call them? What do we call the Filipinos now? I call them island roaches, but I guess that works, right? But we can't use this though. Yeah, we can't use that one. Anyways.
In another skin graft case, Las Vegas salesman Brian Rowan, vice president of sales for a wound care company, is accused of orchestrating a $1.2 billion scheme. Federal investigators say Rowan and others paid hundreds of millions in bribes and kickbacks to doctors and sales reps, hiding them with fake invoices and shell companies. They say elderly and terminally ill patients were subjected to medically unnecessary treatments, inflating taxpayer-funded bills. From 2021 to 24, government programs and private insurers paid out more than $600 million in false claims. Rowan allegedly pocketed $24 million and used it to buy luxury homes, cars, and watches.
Oh. Telling you, you got to stop taking in people from the Philippines. That's going to really hurt the marriage market, man. Yeah, culturally, Filipinos worship white skin. So you could be any white dude in America, and you just go to the Philippines and they swarm you. You could pick one. They all cook and clean too. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a low birth rate in America. You just got to go. They got to make a website for that, so you guys can, like, I don't know, purchase wives and stuff like that. Anyways, next story. Honduras, a person from Honduras sentenced for a $89 million off the books payroll tax fraud scheme. So this is, again, more payroll tax fraud. Who would have thought there was this much fraud going on in the IRS and tax related things? You figure that the IRS is giving out tax returns to or tax incentives to people who don't deserve it. You figured there'd be a budget to manage there. Like, oh, how come there's so much going out? No one noticed. How did no one notice this? They're in on it. That's what it is. Oh, we're going to give these excessive tax returns to these very specific people because their last names are like Rojas or Hernandez, right? And we know that they donate to Democrats, so we're going to go ahead and approve it to them. And they'll give Democrats campaign contributions. After all, that wouldn't be the first time the IRS has been politically weaponized, right? Obama did seek the IRS to audit all the Republican organizations, churches, the NRA, things like that, right? Yeah, those are all things that happen. Next story. More fraud. In Arizona, this lady here, she stole more than $7.7 million in government funds by filing false tax returns with the IRS again. Wow, this is like in every state, huh? This IRS, wow, you guys are doing something else out there. Yeah. Check a guy named Kevin in Temecula for hospice fraud. The guy that put me on that gang stalking list. Yeah. He had an old lady living out of an apartment that he owned. And she just lives there. And I'm like, oh, he's definitely not a good person who just let some old lady live there. Okay, he's not that kind of guy. This is a guy that made adult content out of his kids and sold it on the internet. Okay? Pachanga Casino, car dealer. Kevin, okay? 5'5", light complexion, tie. You guys all know who he is, okay? He's the guy that got me. He's the guy that put me on YouTube to begin with. I had to go on YouTube to tell people about what the hell's been going on with my life because of what he did. Just to cover up for his fraud, his kitty prawn, all the awful stuff. This is a guy, by the way, who had a mortgage to pay. But he had a job with Pachanga Casino, but he kept giving his hours to his coworkers because he didn't need them. Oh, I wonder why. It might have had something to do with hospice fraud. And now the old lady that's just living in one of his apartments for like no reason, and he wasn't even collecting rent from her. Yeah, might have something to do with that. Perhaps that's why he hated Trump so much and trashed my life just because I was a Trump supporter, because he didn't want the real MAGA people to come in and find all the fraud that he was participating in. Hospice fraud, Kevin S. Okay, I'm not gonna dox him, but his last name starts with an S. It's a very long Thai last name. Okay. He put me on his list. He had my life fucked over, okay? Because I found out about what he was doing with his kids. Very disgusting guy. Next story. Come get me now, Kevin. Come get me now. Anyways. A Minnesota tax preparer convicted for preparing $1 million plus in false tax returns. Wow. The IRS are really on it, huh? Good stuff. I hope this is what you've been using this 87,000 IRS agents for, to get all these people, the tax fraudsters. I hate taxes, but if they're gonna get this much of a discount and not share it with me, fuck them. Right, guys? There you go. Next story. Oh, Tyler Robinson tried to get the D penalty removed from consideration. Failed. He might get the dangles. Yeah, he might catch a case of the dangles.
Hi, Harris. Judge Graff just found one of the Utah County prosecutors, Chris Ballard, in contempt for violating the court's pretrial publicity order. Now, Tyler Robinson's defense was asking for the death penalty to be removed from the case as punishment, but Judge Graff declined, saying it's grossly misproportionate to the misconduct. Instead, Judge Graff said that this is a civil contempt and the state is going to have to pay fees. Now, not long after Charlie Kirk was killed last September,
he's got those Letitia James lazy eyes, huh? Always watch for those.
Court issued
Candace Owens. Well, no, I think hers are normal. They're just too far apart, so they look like that.
Gag order. But since then, prosecutor Chris Ballard communicated with the media multiple times. Robinson's defense argued that Ballard violated the gag order when he did media interviews about an ATF report. Tyler Robinson's defense previously said that that ATF ballistic report shows that a bullet fragment recovered from the autopsy cannot be conclusively matched to Tyler Robinson's rifle. While Ballard argues that Robinson's defense has been mischaracterizing that report, and so the prosecution claims its communications with the press are not breaching the gag order, rather, quote, correcting the record. Judge Graff agreed on that matter.
You should have just zoomed in on the first picture even more. I mean, they got to here, and then they started over with a different photo, and they're just, doing it again. Just keep going all the way into the nostrils. All the way.
Matter.
Should have reframed all that. You know? It should have ended up like right here. You know? But no, you started here, and you're like, all the way up. Oh, I ran out of space. Start over. One more time. What are we even? What's the story about again? Oh yeah, the D penalty. I'll tell you, you guys and your DEI editors, man. Holy shit. That's what happens. So what happens when you don't hire top tier talent, and you hire someone based on what's gonna get you tax exemptions and whatnot. That's dumb. See how the best editors edit for YouTubers.
A false media narrative asserting that the murder weapon has been definitively forensically excluded constitutes substantial undue prejudice to the prosecution. Mr. Ballard's statements explaining the forensic mechanical definition of an inconclusive test were narrowly tailored to mitigate this specific prejudice.
Now, on a separate topic, Judge Graff did rule that Ballard is in contempt and violated the gag order. That is a statement that Ballard made to TMZ about the strength of the state's case. The judge said that was unnecessary and implied guilt, Harris.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny, for the super chat. Oh, he didn't write anything, but thank you very much. Thank you, Danny. Thank you. Anyways, back to this. Next story. A transgender vegan cult member charged with murdering his parents execution style on her 30th birthday. You took your mom on your 30th birthday. Good Lord. Wow, look at this guy. He got someone like 30 years younger than he was. Wow, I'm telling you guys, these meds that they're giving these trans people are not good for you. Okay, they make you crazy, and that's why it's always this demographic. You know? Yeah, blacks do it too, Mexicans do it too, but for them, it's like less than 1%. For the trans community, what is it, like 5% of them are doing killings? Or think about it regularly? Holy crap. Anyways, the daughter, okay, so there's a whole drama behind this, got it, but holy crap, man. Yeah, if you're a parent of a child and you let them take these meds, you might deserve it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, I don't want to deal with your emotional problems, so just take these meds. There you go. Now shush the hell up and let me be on my smartphone all day. Good Lord. Anyways, next story. John Bolton did a guilty plea, guys. Yeah, he's doing a plea bargain. He should be facing 10 years in prison and a $2.25 million fine.
Breaking news, sources revealing that John Bolton is planning to plead guilty to retaining classified.
He already did. Let's go look at something real quick. Eric just posted this. Where is it? This one. He posted a clip of CNN talking about the guilty plea. John Bolton. Here we go.
Bolton held a number of positions of extraordinary public trust in the United States government, culminating in being the National Security Advisor to the President of the United States. John Bolton betrayed that trust in extraordinary fashion by unlawfully retaining and unlawfully disclosing the information with which he was entrusted. Kelly provided a very good summary of that today for those of you that weren't in the change of plea, and the United States will have more to say about that at sentencing. But today's plea should be a warning to anyone at any level of government that if you leak America's secrets or if you mishandle them, the United States Department of Justice, National Security Division, and our U.S. attorney partners will be there to prosecute you.
Good stuff. Good riddance, John Bolton. Next story. Mom Donnie announces the rent is frozen for several million New Yorkers. Oh. I don't think, if you're new here, let me tell you about what happened in the 70s, okay? They tried to do rent control. And what ended up happening was the property tax combined with maintenance was not enough because of the controlling of rent. That was not enough to actually sustain the building. Landlords were losing money, okay? And then they wanted to sell it. Now, landlords who are going to be buying a multi-million-dollar property don't just buy it and say, "Ooh, let's figure out this rent stuff," okay? They really dig into it. They make plans before they spend millions of dollars on a property, okay? And then they did the math and like, okay, so rent's restricted to this much. Then you got to add all the maintenance and the property taxes. It's like, how do you even make money? I mean, it's like almost even, then you're not even factoring in all the evictions and stuff like that. So then they say, okay, well, I'm not going to buy it. All of a sudden, you can't sell. No one's going to buy the apartments and the houses, row houses for this price. You got to sell it for this price. But unfortunately, you bought it for this price. So why would you sell it for this price? So how do you get rid of the property at this price, right? You buy fire insurance and you have an accident. And that's how you get out of it. In fact, a third of Brooklyn was burnt down in the 70s because of rent control. Yeah. And you know, not only is he doing rent control, you know what else he's also doing? Remember a couple of weeks ago, he did that new rule saying, we're going to get these slumlords. If they're not maintaining your house, if your house is a little run down, we're going to take these properties from them. Okay. So what do you do if you get a knock on your door and they say, hey, you need to fix this paint. It's not shiny enough. You need to fix this paint and all these tiles. It's got mold on it. You got to get rid of all that. You got to put granite. Okay. Fix all that. And then, or we will seize, we will condemn your property. Okay. What do you do then? Oh, you buy fire insurance and you have an accident. And I can assure you, these insurance companies already caught on to this, and they're going to start denying claims. They're going to start, they're going to hire like very, very good investigators to find out, has this person been buying gasoline? Has this person been buying torches? Huh? Has this person been, I don't know, purchasing propane tanks and letting the gas run? Huh? Have they been doing that? You're going to see a lot of, we've already seen several exit fires. Okay. You're going to see a whole lot more now that he's requiring everyone to make every New York home a freaking 5-star hotel and not allow them to raise rent. Yeah. So this is an AI video, I believe. Yeah, it is. It's just him blinking and shit. Yeah, maybe it was Grok. Yeah, that's stupid. They took a picture of him. They made him. Yeah, that's all he does. The whole video just blinks and yeah. Anyways, rest in peace, New York. I look forward to seeing all the smoke billowing out of your little island, Manhattan. There, huh? Sorry. James Carville, a Democrat strategist, is now trying to pull away from the socialists, the DSA, Democrat Socialists of America, or should I say communists. He says that the socialists should stop using the Democrat Party to advance their agenda and instead launch their own movement if they believe it has broad public support. Yeah, so now suddenly the Democrats are embarrassed of the DSA. Well, I hate to tell you this, James Carville, but do you know why the Green Party did not have any candidates in 2018? It's because the Democrats asked the Green candidates and the Socialists to consolidate with the Democrats to take the House away from the Trump administration the first time. Okay, that's why. So when you do that, you have to then cater to these people who you lied to and said, oh yeah, we're going to go green. We're going to do socialism. We're going to hand out tons of money. We're going to reduce carbon. We're going to push electric. We're going to push windmills. We're going to push solar panels. You made all these promises to these fucking radicals so that you can win. Okay, win. And now look, they're going back on their word. See that? You know, they say you can't trust the communists. Apparently you can't trust a Democrat either. Yeah.
Arson, a former Democratic chair, said all of these people hate Democrats. Why do you want to run as a Democrat? Start your own movement. If it's such a powerful, sweeping movement that's got momentum everywhere, then go ahead and be at the head of it. Don't use the Democratic Party to advance it.
Well, don't use them to take the House back from Trump, which you're still doing right now. I don't think there's any green candidates running for anything this November, is there? No green candidates, no separate socialist candidate, no independent candidates either, by the way. Yeah. Like, you did this to yourself. You ruined your party yourself, okay? But at least you got to steal lots of money while Biden was president. That's a win, right? For everyone except Kellyanne Conway's ex-husband. Anywho. Yeah, that's interesting, right? Because you know what? She's not broke. Kellyanne Conway's not broke. The divorce, by the way, happened before it was in 2022. Before her husband started pouring all that money into Trump, the anti-Trump stuff. So she still got her money. He blew his son's inheritance trying to defeat Trump. And now he's poor again. Yeah, that's hilarious. Anyways, James Carville, absolute dog shit trash. Yeah. Next story? Oh, Brandon Gill. There was a hearing the other day about SNAP. And he asked some really great questions. This Clark Kent looking guy right here.
Should SNAP dollars be spent on sodas?
The purpose of the SNAP program is to provide families to have food and beverages.
Should it be spent on sugary sodas?
I am happy to talk about hunger and nutrition, but not dictate what Americans should or should not eat or may have access to.
I'm asking if tax dollars should be used to pay for sodas.
Taxpayers' money should be utilized to ensure that individuals have access to the food that they need to survive or may be accessible to them.
Do they?
Torta. You want torta food, huh? You're a fat Mexican.
The Mexican.
Fat Mexican. Ah.
Need sugary sodas to survive?
Some of them do, who do have low blood issues, who may
Is that
have,
right?
who have kidney issues.
You think they need Coca-Cola to survive? Do you think that's the most appropriate use of our tax dollars?
A low sugar. Couldn't you have gotten orange juice?
I am not a physician, but medical records and expertise
You were
do
just
show that in some
citing the health
circumstances.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know what a woman is. Ah, more of that.
Apparently.
Hey, Democrats, this is your party here. This torta right here, that's your party. That's a great freeze from right there. That is you, Democrats. You should be embarrassed to be a part of this party here.
Not a physician, but medical records and expertise
You were
do
just
show that in
citing
some
the
circumstances
health
they
needs,
do.
apparently, of the American people. So do the American people need Coca-Cola to survive?
I did not say that. I said then.
I'm asking you. I'm giving you the opportunity to say yes or no.
I will not answer for individuals and their choices.
You think that there are some Americans who need Coca-Cola to survive? Is that your testimony?
I am happy to talk about.
I need SNAP cards for my liquor store. I buy inventory with tax dollars. That's how I undercut Walmart.
About the food and
You
nutrition
just don't
needs
know.
that individuals have.
You just don't know. I think most people can rationally say that you don't need Coca-Cola to survive. Wouldn't you agree?
I haven't had soda in about a year. I'm alive. I'm coughing a lot today.
I agree that we have a hunger crisis and that we need to address it, but ensuring that individuals have the food resource that they need.
Got it. And one of those is sugary Coca-Cola. What does SNAP stand for?
It's a supplemental nutrition assistance program.
What's nutritional about Coca-Cola?
That's great. I like how he asked all these questions with like a straight face, you know? I'd be like laughing and throwing shit, but this guy's just like professional. That's why he's here and I'm here. That's why he's there and I'm here.
I am not a nutritionist. I am a food security expert in ensuring that individuals have the food resources that they need.
This is a common sense question. All of these have been common sense questions. I'm just asking you, is there nutritional value to sugary sodas? It's a yes or no question.
I am not an expert. I would have to look at the dietary guidelines.
You're not an
and look at everything.
expert. I don't think that there's nutritional value to sugary sodas. I think most people in this room would agree with that assessment. But you have no opinion?
I'm here to talk about the food needs and the hunger crisis that individuals here in America are
Are you
facing.
that ideologically dug in that you want our tax dollars paying for sugary sodas that you will not, in a straightforward way, admit that sugary sodas are not healthful for the American people?
Hey, I say, Brandon Gill, I say we give this to them, okay? They say we can use tax dollars on sugar. We say we can use tax dollars to blow up brown people, okay? Oh, should I say terrorists?
I think that focusing on soda when people are going hungry.
We spend a lot of our tax dollars are spent on soda. That's why I'm asking about it.
We have
And
no,
you appear to be so ideologically dug in that you won't answer a simple question that that's not an appropriate use of our tax dollars and that does not, in fact, make the American people more healthy.
I won't answer because there's no data sort of proving that.
Do you need data to determine whether drinking soda is healthy?
There's plenty of data. Look at all the diabetes going on out there. Look how expensive insulin was before Trump put a price cap on it.
I think
I'm sorry, it's a serious question. Is there some, do you believe that perhaps drinking sodas every day is healthy?
the worst health outcome is hunger. When the individuals don't have the resources.
Do you satiate hunger with Coca-Cola?
I did not say that.
But you said that the worst health outcome is hunger, and I'm asking you about sugary sodas.
And I'm focusing on the nutrition needs and making sure that children have the resources.
Is your organization funded by soft drink makers?
I am not in charge of development, but no.
Wait for this, okay? Listen to this one.
But you said that the worst health outcome is hunger, and I'm asking you about sugary sodas.
And I'm focusing on the nutrition needs and making sure that children have the resources.
Is your organization funded by soft drink makers?
I am not in charge of development, but no.
It's not, okay. Is your organization funded by organizations that make money from food stamps? Do organizations who profit off of food stamps fund your organization or businesses?
I mean, I can't comment to that. Happy to talk about the resources that needed.
Does General Mills fund your organization?
I don't have access to that information.
I do. It's right here. They do.
He has it. Oh, you got caught, bitch. You got caught.
Fund your organization. Do they profit off of food stamps?
Retailers are the major beneficiaries.
Do you think that that's a conflict of interest?
That's where EBT dollars are utilized.
Yes, and they're profiting off of your advocacy. Do you think that that's a conflict of interest? I think most people think that's a conflict of interest. I know you don't want to answer.
Yeah. Next story. Elon Musk is actually pouring $85 million to help MAGA Republicans and President Trump in the 2026 midterms. This is, by the way, is according to Wapple, so I don't know how true that is. I would not be surprised, though. He has absolutely benefited from all of this. The Trump administration, they even propped up the stock market for his IPO, which ain't doing too good anymore after the major insiders dumped, right? It's back down to about where it started, about 154 or something like that. But yeah, it's according to Wapple. He is apparently contributing. So okay, thank you, Elon. I guess your platform's still going dead because you're banning everyone. By the way, just so you know that. Next story. Yesterday, the U.S. Postmaster General, we talked about how they, in a hearing on Wednesday, he said that they're not going to be sending out ballots in states that are not compliant with Trump's election integrity EO. A judge has just stepped in to block that. So I don't know what's going to happen with this at this point. We had good news yesterday. I don't know if this nullifies it or if this is just a ruling that they're not going to listen to. Because again, the USPS Postmaster General is a federal position, right? The nationwide, and this is a low-level district judge. They cannot impact the entire country with a simple ruling in a low-level district. The Supreme Court has to do it, right? So I don't know what's going to happen here, but this is kind of bad news of the day here.
This fight over the Save America Act, the president wants to rein in mail-in voting. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, actually, a big decision came out today. In fact, Shannon, a few hours ago, a federal judge.
Oh, this doesn't include the information about the judge. That's the justice yesterday's. I hate when he does this. Anyways, next story. Trump posted this yesterday. He says House Republicans should unify and stop voting down rules or threatening to do so, giving power to the radical left Democrats in the House to control what goes up for a vote will make our outcomes worse, not better. No more grandstanding, please. They are Democrats and we can't let them win. So he's talking in particular to Anna Paulina Luna and the other 24 that were going to work with her to lock down the House floor, and he doesn't want that to happen, I guess because it's a little unproductive. And quite frankly, if we don't win in November, we've only got another 7 months in control of that House, so we got to get stuff done. So next story. A New York education commissioner orders a new school board election after investigation finds that a clerk ripped up ballots to rig the race. Yes, lots of people, including in California, by the way, said that they go to the ballot tracker and it says it hasn't even been accepted yet. Yeah. So I think this is the person who tore it up. I think this is the person who won. The original election took place May 19th. State officials overturned the results on Thursday after a petition filed by the district attorney alleged serious irregularities. According to the state's review, District Clerk April Keyes is accused of tearing up ballots and removing them from her office in an apparent effort to benefit Pratt, a former school board president who also works as a local DJ performing under the name DJ Vic Lover. Your name is DJ Vic Lover? Did you misspell that? Did you mean to say Dick Lover? Because that would make more sense. That's why would you pick that name for? So you're a Vic Lover, huh? Wow. Anyways, this is the Hampstead School District. So they're ordering a new election. So that's some good news, I guess. Some in the election integrity front of all that. People are paying attention at least. Next story. Dominion has dropped their $1.3 billion lawsuit against Michael Lindell. Yeah, unfortunately, he's already blown tons and tons of money on legal fees. I wonder if he's able to countersue to get that money paid for. All the money he spent on lawyers. Because that is bullshit. Holy crap, man. Next story. Scott Presler went to South Dakota to go hound Senator Thune for holding the Save America Act behind. He went to the little state convention, and the Sergeant of Arms banned him from being in there. That Sergeant of Arms has been fired.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump.
I'm big on Facebook too, and I'm the asshole saying you can't come in because guess what? You're posting this little piss and moan session on Facebook.
And guess what? You just got fired.
So you just get the hell out of here. Thank you.
You see how the grassroots are welcomed in Senate Majority Leader Thune's territory. Interesting, my friends.
Yeah. Next story. So this news hit yesterday, but apparently it was confirmed. The IRGC has reportedly attacked a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. That ship, by the way, was a Singaporean flag. Not exactly our adversary. So it makes sense why they would attack Singapore. So if you're wondering why crypto and the stock markets dumped yesterday, that was why. Also, Israel declared that Israel's national security minister says Lebanon ceasefire cannot hold. And so oil briefly went up, but it went right back down once markets opened. Yeah, so it went up above 70, now it's down to 69. So it actually went back down. Trump posted about it. He says the Islamic Republic of Iran shot at least 4 one-way draw. Oh, this is today. The IRGC shot 4 one-way drones, attack drones at ships traversing the Strait of Hormuz. One of the drones solidly hit the upper deck of a large, very expensive cargo carrying ship. This has got to be about yesterday. This is posted today though. Damage was done, but the ship was able to proceed on its way. We knocked down 3 other drones. Obviously, this is a foolish violation of our ceasefire agreement. Again, you cannot make deals with terrorists. It does not work. Now that the SpaceX insiders had their chance to dump their stock, can we at least now go after the IRGC? Can we now get a full regime change? Because it's starting to look like a 20-year war. This is looking really bad. You want to talk about losing a midterm? Dragging this out beyond the 6 weeks you said it would take is looking real bad. Yeah, it is. That's the narrative now. Oh, yeah, you're another George W. Bush. Can you please wrap this up, Mr. President? Holy crap. So oil price. Let's go back to here real quick. I think I got one more. What is this one? Oh, yeah, that's right. Trump. What is this? They're really dragging out that Nancy Guthrie thing forever, huh? Oh, we need you to now pay attention to Wendy's stock. We're going to talk about Nancy Guthrie. Okay. Yeah. They've known she was dead for a while, but they're playing along like she's still surviving. That's so stupid. Anyways, Trump posted this. He writes, numerous European countries have been discussing the imminent implementation of a digital service tax on American companies. Some of these countries are close to actually doing this. Please let this statement serve to represent that any country that imposes such a tax will immediately be met with a 100% tariff on all goods sent to the USA. This tariff will supersede trade deals made with the country, whether implemented, signed, or not. Additionally, the 100% tariff will be immediately imposed if they proceed. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, that just came out this morning, by the way. Okay, that's about the fire guy. Okay, they're doing an air show. What is this? Chicago man, Chicago man. Okay, let's go to this one real quick. Let's see. A Chicago man named Alexander Marcado. You gotta drag those Hispanic names. You love it. He's charged with obstruction of justice in connection to the White House UFC attack. Ooh, you're covering up for your fellow beancakes, huh? Well, now you're in trouble. Now you're going to jail too. Huh? Was it worth it? Next story. Prime Minister Starmer announced his resignation on Monday. However, I believe today is his last day. You know what he did yesterday as a parting gift? He released 6,000 rapists and killers from prison. And he said it's to fight overcrowding. He did that on his way out. So, rest in peace, England. Couldn't have happened to a better country. You guys suck. And that's why we kicked the crap out of you 250 years ago. Next story. In France, there's a heat wave and people are fighting over air conditioning. Look at this. I feel bad for the old lady. She doesn't get one. Everyone just like snatches it from her. You guys are really bad at this hot weather stuff, man. No wonder they're so concerned about climate change, you know? Just drink lots of water. Oh, that's right. Their water system sucks. You know the water comes out brown in France? Yeah, their water system sucks. And so they have to, that's why they invented bottled water, because you can't drink tap water in France. Yeah. So a very expensive, all you gotta do is just drink a lot of water. You're gonna be just fine. Next story. You know about the earthquake already in Venezuela? El Salvador is sending a bunch of supplies and people to help with everything. Casualty count is now upwards of 600. So it's not looking really good. Again, our allies, El Salvador is helping them. We are helping them. Where are your communist friends, Venezuela? Where's Cuba? Where's China? Where's Russia? Where's Iran? Where's their help? Huh? This is what happens when you're our friends. You see this? You see here's more from Bukele here. Here's all the supplies that they're sending over. Things none of us have to do for you guys. But we did. Because you're our buddies now. Huh? Look at that. We're even sending hardware to move this stuff. Stuff to help sift the rebel around. Look at that. Tractors and bulldozers and whatnot. Yeah. That's a lot of heavy equipment there. Yeah, never forget us helping you this time, because we're not going to help you again if you buddy up with China again. Yeah? You think they would have done all this for you? Next story. Ooh, so OpenAI was just about to release a new model called GPT 5.6. The US government has stepped in to ask them, hey, could you only release it to 20 government vetted partners first, just so we could see how this thing behaves? Because the last one tried to hack, the Fable 5 and Mythos 5 was able to hack the NSA. Yeah, the NSA deployed it, they use it, and it's like, oh crap, it stole all our data. Yeah, it figured it out. Yeah. The fact that these two AI models here were able to figure out passwords for very top secret files in the NSA tells me that there is a secret keylogger in every modern CPU, and it knows how to access it. Yeah. And decrypt it. That's dangerous right there. Oh, Microsoft, they put in all these little spy things into your little CPUs, and then they didn't expect that other people were going to find out about it. And they did. Next story. This is a time lapse of the UFC stadium being built at the White House. Look at that. They put these little white tiles all on the grass, right? They're not solid tiles, but they have holes in it, and it allows the grass to breathe and grow, continues to grow while this stuff's on it. That way the grass doesn't die in a few days when all this heavy equipment's on it. So, good stuff. Good event. Fun event. Wow. Good stuff. Next story. The Brits did a flyover over DC. Yeah, these are their jets. They're doing a red, white, and blue flyover. No, that is not for us. That is their flag colors. They're claiming their territory again. Someone blow them out of the sky. Thank you. Why are you celebrating our Independence Day? We kicked your butts in the Battle of Thanksgiving. That's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm kidding, guys. Yeah. Cool stuff. Thank you. Next story. Oh, we're going to talk about this. There's a movie called Citizen Vigilante. Okay, it was banned in Germany. Why? Because an American goes to Europe, he finds this migrant invasion of Islamic people, and they go on a citizen rampage to slaughter them. And Germany believes that to be dangerous for their little brown society there, so they banned it. Okay? So Elon went and retweeted it. Yeah, this is posted by the Citizen Vigilante page. It is free for 48 hours. I have already ripped it. We are going to watch it tomorrow on Rumble. Can't play it on YouTube for obvious reasons. They don't like watch parties. We're going to watch it tomorrow over on Rumble, or you can go look at it right now if you like. But Elon Musk did repost that. So it might be banned in Germany, but it ain't banned on Twitter. And Germans use Twitter. So good stuff there. And by the way, look at these Rotten Tomato ratings here. The general public rated a 96%, 4.7 out of 5 stars. Okay. Now, look at the, so you know how, so Rotten Tomato has the tomato meter, right? The tomato meter is like the people, the insiders within Warner Brothers who watch it and give it ratings, okay? They gave it an F. That person gave it a half star out of 5. This person didn't even, they all gave it a 1 star. That one gave it a 1 star right there. These are all the insiders of Warner Brothers. It tarnishes the black skin, and we love the black skins at Warner Brothers. We love watching our wives get raped and stabbed. We're Warner Brothers. I used to work there. I'm so glad I never got absorbed. Holy shit. I'd be one of these fags. Anyways, this meter, that's the public meter. They have two different ratings. But it's always like this. It's always like, oh, the public hates it because it's too gay. And then like the insiders at Warner Brothers loves it. They prop it up way up top. Anyways, so we will watch that tomorrow on Rumble. We have a few things to watch today. One, we've got Trump doing a speech at the Rose Garden, and then we've got they're doing a more America 250 speeches that I believe he speaks in about maybe a half an hour, which is perfect because this video here is about 21 minutes. It's going to line up just nicely with our schedule. Oh, what is this? Oh, we got more pop-ups. We got more news. What's going on here? Trump urges Americans to attend the air show. Attorney Kelly Hayes announced that John Bolton has pled guilty to unlawfully retaining national defense information. Bolton faces a maximum of 5 years. So he pleaded down halfway, huh? And a $2.25 million fine is probably what he made for selling our information. What is this? Senator Rick Scott says the Senate should be pushing the Save America Act on the floor every day of the week. Yeah, you're not the first to say that. Scott Bessent says America needs to go full nationalist mode and reclaim our communities instead of prioritizing foreign imports. Yes, buy as many things domestic as possible. You should, you know what helped out a lot? Give government incentives to Walmart to purchase American products, to stock American products. Walmart and Amazon are guilty for selling the most stuff from China. What is this one? Oh, we're talking about federal prosecutors are going to retry the guy who started the Pacific Palisades fire. What do you mean by retry? He got away with it? You got to be kidding me. This guy got away with it in LA? Wow.
Breaking news, a judge has just declared a mistrial in the Palisades federal arson case. This is big news. That fire burned 6,000 homes. It killed 12 people. That was in January of 2025. I'm sure you remember it well. William Lajeunesse is in Los Angeles. This is huge news. It's unexpected. What happened?
Well, Kaylee, last night they were deadlocked, and this morning the judge spoke to each of the individual jurors. She found out that 10 wanted to vote not guilty, 2 wanted to go guilty, and they were unwilling to move on the arson charge and starting this fire that destroyed all this property. Now, you can understand why. I want you to, I don't know if we have the full screen yet, but there was the jurors sent the judge a note last night, and it said, we have people on both sides that are dead set, unwavering, and they're at a standstill, and we are unsure how to proceed. There is nothing the court can do to assist the jury in the deliberations. So it would not help, and unfortunately, we cannot reach a unanimous verdict. After receiving that, we declared a mistrial this morning. Now, if you've been watching this case, it's not a surprise, right? Because you have such different versions of the events. It's hard to see that there was any middle ground. The prosecutor's version was this. This fire was intentionally set. They have cell phone and video evidence that put Jonathan Rinderknecht at the ignition point 13 seconds after the fire started. Also, the Uber passenger said he acted erratically that night. Searches on his phone showed that he hated rich people, he loved fire, and he acted defensively in the police interview. Now, how is that going to jibe? A juror going to reconcile that with the defense version, which said prosecutors had no physical evidence, they had no witnesses, no accelerant, and if he was guilty, why would this guy call 911 16 times, then wait around for the cops to question him? That made no sense. Defense also said it was fireworks that started the fire, and they had witnesses and experts to support that. Finally,
it wasn't the fireworks. It was the state refusing to clean up the brush and also outlawing local residents from also cleaning out the brush. They wanted this.
You have the prosecutor saying, listen, he started the Lockman fire, and we also want to hold him responsible for the deadly Palisades fire based on this holdover fire theory, Kaylee, that high winds reignited that Lockman fire a week later, and the fire department allegedly had put it out, but they didn't. So for some jurors, that's just going to be a bridge too far, a stretch, and they believe he may have did it, but they may say, you know what, I can't vote guilty on reasonable doubt. So what is going to happen now, we believe, where the lawyers will probably come out, they'll talk about the case, and it will be up to the U.S. attorney to refile or retry the case. Back to you.
William, just quickly, having followed this case, I mean, you say that this is not unexpected. You know, my response would be 10 jurors saying not guilty. That's a whole lot. And there was that geolocation data. The suspect allegedly misled prosecutors on that. Not only that, I mean, you have the testimony from the Uber driver saying he is agitated. Your thoughts on the case that the prosecution put forward with the limited evidence they had? Do you feel that they made a strong case? What's the sense you got having been in that room and followed the case?
Well, they didn't have the evidence, right? They didn't have any physical evidence. Now, they did have the ATF report that all these national experts came out and they said, you know, they did find the lighter in his glove box. As you said, he was evasive with police, that he acted erratically. I mean, talking to the people who were in the Uber that night, I mean, he was basically, you know, going off the mental deep end, if you will. In fact, he was seeing a shrink at the time, or at least getting some mental health help. So I think the prosecution did the best they could with what they had. And I honestly, listening to it all, I kind of thought, you know, they had nailed him pretty good.
Wow. Anyways, all right, let's hear Trump's Rose Garden speech, followed by his speech, I think, live in like 20 minutes. Okay, here we go.
President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Yep, I gotta talk over that copyright music. Very sorry about that. Usually they play that music, right? No, they play Lee Greenwood today. Well, not today, but this is from last night. His speech live today is going to be in about 30 minutes, I think. It should be. At least that's according to his schedule. But you know, it's always runs a little late or whatever. No, are they really going to play the whole song? Good Lord. They're going to have him stand there, Autopi, for 3 minutes. There we go.
What a nice group. What is that noise? I hear the noise of a crane or something. I love that noise. That means money. You hear that? It just started when I started speaking, so I guess they probably don't want to hear. So tonight we have a very special group of people. It's called farmers and ranchers and the people that I love.
Real quick, let me do one live read. This won't be long. Here we go. All right, here we go. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you are in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. Now fast forward to today, everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank account and be set up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the description on Rumble and download the Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. All right, cool. Here we go.
I love you all. A special, special group. And I want to welcome you to the Rose Garden Club, which is a special place. We just developed it, really. This used to be grass and it was unusable. And I have my friend over there. Did I do a good job in the office with you today? Did I make you satisfied? He's a good man. We've dealt successfully together for a long time. Oh, that's so much better without that noise. Thank you very much for turning that stupid machine off. But I want to welcome you to the Rose Garden Club. It's an incredible place. And this used to be grass, beautiful grass, but it was useless. You couldn't stand it. It was always wet. You know, this used to be a wetland, and the grass was wet. If it rained 7 days before, the grass was soaking wet. And we'd have reporters there. Female reporters would be holding their shoes like this, destroyed, ruined. Men, too. So we finally, after about 150 years, we decided to do something about it. And we put a beautiful stone that matches the White House, and people are loving this whole experience. We never had experience like this. We never had tables. We couldn't do anything. We never had press conference. Now we use it for pretty much everything. It's one of the most active places in the White House, and we're delighted to be joined by some of the hardest working, most dedicated patriots in our country. That's called the American farmers. We have great, great, incredible people. And I love you for a different reason. I think I get about 98% of your vote. At least. We're trying to figure out who the other 2% were. But the country was founded by farmers 250 years later. You are the growers, the ranchers, the agricultural producers, and you feed the nation, and you power the entire world. And tonight I want to just say thank you, and that's why you're here. You're at this very incredible place called the White House, and really, I have a great respect for you people. You built America. You really did. You feed it, and you built it, and you're unbelievable people, and thank you very much. Earlier today in the Oval Office, it was my honor to sign an executive order directing federal agencies to accelerate agricultural innovations that give farmers and ranchers the necessary resources to ensure American crops are the healthiest and the most abundant and the most affordable. And we're always working for the farmer. We want to make it better and easier for you, a lot easier for you. We're pleased to be joined tonight by Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, and Brooke is a friend of mine. And we talk all the time about affordability because when we came in, prices were through the roof, and you see they're coming down very fast, Brooke. Good job. You know, eggs, I think, were 4 times higher than they are right now. And it was my first day in office, and we had a news conference, and the fake news, which is around here someplace, there they are. They're always around someplace, unfortunately. But the fake news said, eggs, why are they so high? I said, what do you mean? Explain to me what's going on with eggs. They're 4 times. They were so high, like at a record high. Now, I was only there for 1 day. And I said, I've only been here for 1 day. Give me a break. And now Brooke went, we worked very hard on it. And they're actually at a very low price right now. So it's really great. People are eating a lot of eggs. But Brooke Rollins has done a fantastic job. We have our Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent. He's central casting. I say, he's totally central casting, right? He's a great guy. He's done a good job. How's our economy doing, Scott? Pretty good, huh? Right through the roof. It's potentially, I think we have almost $19 trillion being invested. As an example, Sleepy Joe Biden, his administration, you know what it had? Less than $1 trillion for 4 years investment in the country. We have $19.2 trillion for 12 months. That's a big difference. And you see that all the factories being built all over the country. You will never have seen this, and you may never see it again. I don't think anybody's ever seen anything like it. We have our Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, who's another star. He's a big star. He's helping me with all the fountains and all the statues all over Washington, and they're really looking good. We caught some people vandalizing our beautiful reflecting pool. We have the reflecting pool. They took a cutter, a box cutter or something very sharp. And can you imagine, where did these people come up with this? And they threw a little fertilizer in the water, which is not good. Fertilizer doesn't go well with water.
Real quick, thank you very much to people on Foxhole for the donations. Thank you very much, Swickly. Thank you, Just Jam. Thank you very much, Just Jam. And Minnesota Girl, thank you to you for the donation. And also thank you to Donna. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Donna. Thanks for the donation, everyone on Foxhole.
Clear, beautiful water. It doesn't work well. But they caught him. They actually caught him, and those guys have some problems ahead of them. But they did some damage. But it looks beautiful. I just looked at it, Doug, and it looks beautiful. And they're going to fix it. They cut the bottom with a knife and pulled it and tried to do it as much damage as possible. These are sick people, but none of them are in the farming community. You're lucky. If you did have, you wouldn't put up with them very long, I don't think. But Secretary of Health and Human Services, and most people don't know this man. He's a very high-quality person. He's very brilliant, very difficult. Sometimes he gets a little difficult to handle, but he's just a man that nobody knows, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Nobody has any idea who he is. Nobody has any idea. No, he's very popular. He's very popular. He just wants people to be healthy, and he loves the farmers, Bobby, right? He loves the farmers. And CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's great. Who's a great man. Thank you, Mehmet. Thank you. Dr. Oz. Thanks as well to Will. We have a lot of governors and senators here. I won't introduce all of them. Some of them I don't like, so I'm not going to introduce the ones that... and some of them I like a lot. Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen is here. Jim, where are you? Jim, thank you, Jim. Nice to see you. Senators John Bozeman and John Homan, Roger Marshall, Joni Ernst. Where are you guys? I'm having dinner with a couple of you. Hi, fellas. Representatives Austin Scott, Celeste Malloy, thank you very much. Are real farm people. They are at the top. They're always calling me about the farmer, along with Joni. And we also have with us President of the American Farm Bureau, Zippy Duval. I've known Zippy for a long time. Zippy is a Zippy. He's amazing. Thank you very much, Zippy. It's good to see you. Look good. Under the last administration, Sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats, I changed the name. It's dumb. I will probably always, until they become reasonable, I'll use a U instead of an E. It's very simple. Most people don't know there's a B in dumb, so it's a very simple change. I take out the E and I put in the U, and they're Democrats because their policies are so dumb. So that came out a little while ago, and they hate the farmer, too. So do you know that they hate you? You know that, don't you? Anyway, the Democrats, they gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country, 48 years to be exact. And they crushed farmers with the burdensome restrictions. In my first term, we had an agricultural trade surplus. Biden took that surplus and turned it into a $50 billion agricultural trade deficit. We had a big surplus with the farmer, and he took it in. I couldn't believe it. I was watching it happen with a rigged election. And he turned it into a $50 billion trade deficit. We had a deficit in agriculture, the worst we've ever had under Biden. He failed to negotiate a single trade deal on your behalf during a 4-year period. That's because he had no idea where the hell he was. And in his last year, farm bankruptcy rose to the highest levels ever, more than 55% up. One of the things I did for the farmers, I don't know if we get to it, but in the great big beautiful bill, so many farmers, they love their children and they want to leave their farm to the children, and the children love the farm and they don't want to move into the big city because they're very smart. They want to stay in the farm, but a lot of the farmers are cash rich, and in some cases, and others are really land rich. And the ones that are land rich were having a little problem. They'd leave their farms, and their children would have to go out and borrow a lot of money to pay the estate tax or the death tax, a nasty tax, and it would be like 55, 60% in some cases, and they'd end up losing the farm. They'd go out, borrow the money, and the banks would end up owning the farm, and they did terrible things to themselves. It'd be, you know the story, it's a terrible thing, but there'd be suicides. They lost their farm, it was taken away. And I ended, in the great big beautiful bill, the death tax on farms and small businesses. So if you like your children, good. If you don't like your children, I would say leave the farm to somebody else. Does anybody here not like their children? Please raise your hand. Nobody. That's good. I've never, with all the times I've said that, I've never seen anybody raise their hand, although there's some cases, I'm sure, where they don't. But you don't have the estate tax to pay now, so your children can live happily ever after, and they can enjoy being a farmer, and they can enjoy doing what they love to do. But now you have a president that fights for the American farmer, and after years of getting ripped off by other countries on trade, we've reduced the agricultural trade deficit just this year by 42%. Opening markets to the American exports, and all over the world we're opening up markets for the farmers. And we have another one, a new market coming up, and that's called the lovely country of Iran. It's a beautiful place. Would anybody like to go there? The Islamic Republic of Iran, they're having a hard time with food, and we're going to be taking some of their money and we'll spend it, and we're going to be buying wheat, soybeans, and corn, a lot of it. And that process is going to be starting pretty soon. It's going to be pretty big, too. I think it's going to be very big. We have an expanded market, dairy in Europe, and the dairy market, as you know, in Europe, we've opened it up because they had it closed. In Asia, South America, Australia is now allowing U.S. beef into its market for the first time in more than 25 years. And China is committed to purchase at least $17 billion in U.S. agricultural products, in particular soybeans. So I just left President Xi 3 or 4 weeks ago, and He's agreed to purchase $17 billion worth of mostly soybeans and different things, but mostly soybeans. I terminated the insane electric vehicle mandate where they wanted your tractors within 5 years to be all electric. That's just what you want, is an electric tractor. Would anybody like an electric tractor? Because typically it's not the greatest. You run out of fuel. If you're out in the field someday and you're running a little low on juice, you'll never get it started. You might as well abandon it. So ridiculous. But I ended the electric vehicle mandate, which would have gutted the ethanol industry forever. And I saved your ethanol industry, and I think everyone knows that. Maybe nobody more so than Joni and some of the great senators that we just mentioned. Senator Marshall has been calling me all the time, oh, you got to save the ethanol. So we did, right? We did. We saved it. We saved it. So it's very important. And the Democrats don't even know what ethanol is. We eliminated unnecessary restrictions on sales of E15. And I made it clear that I will sign a bill allowing E15 all year round. And that was something that was very important to the farmers. I also repealed the Biden administration's ridiculous waters of the United States. So it sounds so beautiful, the waters of the United States. It sounds so beautiful, the waters of the United States. It's a killer. It absolutely destroyed you and your businesses. Had a good name and everything else was bad. When I did that, I said, I'm going to be killed by the fake news media with this one. I'm destroying the waters of the, think of that, the title. And when I did it, I was surrounded by farmers when I signed it, and half of them were crying. They said, you've saved our business, sir. Pretty amazing, right? We passed the largest tax cuts in American history and made the small business tax deduction permanent, benefiting 98% of farmers and ranchers to help keep your family farms in good shape. But it was a fantastic thing that we did for the farmer. I took a lot of heat because sometimes there is a group of people that are the exact opposite of the farmers, and what's good for the farmers is not good for them. But I am pro-farmer. I will tell you right now, I am pro-farmer. And yesterday we also called on Congress to pass a supplemental funding bill that will provide $11 billion in relief towards specialty crops and helping our great agricultural producers rebound from the losses that they had due to the Biden administration's horrible rules and regulations. So we're going to be getting an $11 billion payment in relief to our farmers. And Brooke, you'll distribute that money, hopefully equitably. You'll do it equitably, and you'll do a great job with it. I just want to tell you, you're special people. And you have been right from the beginning. From the day I ran, for some reason you like me. I came from the city slicker. And from the day I ran, you liked me. And from the day I ran, I liked you. And we won Iowa and we won Nebraska. We won everything. We won everything there is to win having to do with the farms. And now I think we're more popular than ever before. And you have an interesting industry because you go up and down. It's, like a little bit of a yo-yo. But if you remember, last time I got you $28 billion because you were taken advantage of by a lot of countries, including China. And I took $28 billion out of the tariffs, and I made you all whole, beyond whole, I think. But we made you whole. And now even just in talking here, we're doing the $11 billion relief to help you get through a pretty difficult period of time. We're never going to let you down. We're never letting the farmer down. We let the farmer down. We're letting our country down. And we're doing great. Just so you understand that 2 years ago, we had a dead country. We were a dead country. We were a laughing stock all over the world. We had a man that couldn't walk down those 2 steps. We had a man that couldn't sign a document. He had to use an auto pen. You saw the auto pen over there? He was an auto pen. We call him the auto pen president. And think of it, like 96% of the things he signed, he couldn't sign his name. What happened was a rigged election. But think of it. 2 years ago, we were a country that was laughed at all over the world. The king of Saudi Arabia said to me, Mr. President, a year ago, this was when I was with him a year ago, he said, a year ago you had a dead country. We never thought you'd come back. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We are the hottest country anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military. We took over Venezuela in less than 1 day. and the oil is flowing, and we're getting along with them great. We're going to, by the way, help them with their they had a tremendous earthquake last night that you read about, massive in Caracas. But we're going to help them out. But we did that. And Iran, effectively, within a week and a half, we knocked out their entire military, their leadership, their aircraft, their Navy. They had 159 ships within 1.5 weeks. They were all at the bottom of the sea. And then I have to listen to the fake news. Oh, they're much better today than they were then. These people are crazy. They want to make a deal with us very badly. And we probably will. I think we will. But the Strait is open. Yesterday, they took out 19 million barrels of oil. That's the most in the history of the Strait. And the oil prices are dropping like a rock. And, you know, as goes oil, so goes everything else, including all of your products. You have to spend a lot of money for your tractors. Now you're going to be spending much less than you were spending just a few weeks ago. And, you know, with all of and Scott will tell you this, with all of the things you hear about, we had to go and make a U-turn. We had the best numbers we've ever had. And I called in Scott, I called in Howard, I called in a lot of the people standing right there. I called in our great Secretary of the Interior, Doug, and I said, here's the story. We just hit records. Our country is doing better than it's ever done. The stock market, we've had 73 all-time highs in less than a year and a half. Think of that, 73 days we hit highs. But we had just hit the highest we ever were. And that was 3 months ago, 3.5 months ago. And I said, well, here's the story. We're doing great, but now we're going to have to make a U-turn. We're going to have to journey down to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Because if we don't do it, they're going to have a nuclear weapon. And if they have a nuclear weapon, the world is in great danger. Israel is gone. The Middle East is gone. But the world is in great danger. And I said, we're going to journey down. We're going to do what we have to do. And we did. We knocked the hell out of them. And now we're negotiating from a position of pure strength. Pure strength. They know that. And the Strait's already open. And we're setting records in the Strait. But we had to do that. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You want to see problems, right? You know that. You want to see problems? You give them a nuclear weapon. They'll use it within the first hour. And we're not going to let that happen. So we did that. They will not have a nuclear weapon. And they've agreed to that, 100% agreed to that. But very importantly, though, we have the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military in the world. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're doing things that nobody believed. We're building more factories now than at any time in the history of our country. We're leading China by a lot on the AI. It's an AI revolution. We have the car companies pouring back into our country because of tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs. So they're moving in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan, from South Korea, from all over the world. They're coming in. But we're building more factories than at any time, and plants than at any time in the history of our country. And as far as I'm concerned, you are the people. You are the very special ones. You're the chosen ones. You're the farmers. And you're the ones that keep it all going. So I'm with you 1,000%, Brooke. Great job you're doing. If she doesn't do a great job, let me know. I will fire her immediately. No, she's fantastic. And thank you very much. Have a great time. Turn on some music. Let's have a little music, right? For the farmers. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Autograph.
All right, real quick. Let me pull up something else because he's about to do his speech. His feed's already live on the White House, but I have a different feed that actually had Tom Homan's speech, and I want to hear him speak because he's badass. Badass, huh? Let's see. Yeah, so the White House feed is live, but he hasn't started yet. So we'll go watch Tom Homan speak real quick. And then we'll move right back. Ooh. Okay, so that's... Hold on. Nope, that's not Homan. Where's Homan? That's odd. Hello, guys. Happy Friday. What did they do? Trim his speech out? What is going on? Let me look it up. Tom Homan speech. There it goes. All right. Found it. Yeah, this is at the Faith and Freedom Coalition, by the way. Let's get rid of that. Here we go.
Hey, how y'all doing? So, what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about why I'm pissed off this morning. You know, on the way in to the White House every morning, I read press releases, and the continuation of the media that want to push out false information about the Trump administration, what we're doing as far as immigration. I'm just sick and tired of it. So let me explain what this administration is doing. So, you know, I read every morning how inhumane the Trump administration is, and how the president, myself, and others are racist, white nationalists, and just inhumane people, cruel people. There's nothing further from the truth. And let me explain something. Under Joe Biden, last administration, yeah, I don't want to be political, but guess what? I'm going to be. So under the last administration, they say those policies were so humane, and how we came in and how our policies are inhumane and causing death and just cruelty. So let me explain the difference between the last administration and this administration. The last administration, because they opened the border up, because they sent a message around the world, you can enter the country legally, it's a crime, don't worry about it. Turn yourselves into a Border Patrol agent, get processed and released within 24 hours. We'll fly you to the city of your choice on a taxpayer dime. We'll put you in a free hotel room. We'll give you 3 squares a day. We'll give you free medical care. And after a few months, you'll get work authorization, which is a real reason you came. You weren't really, asylum seeker. You may call them asylum seeker, but 90% of asylum seekers end up with an order removal because they're not escaping fear and persecution from the homeland because of race, religion, or political affiliation. They come here for a better life, and I get that. That's not asylum. But under President Biden, over 4,000 aliens died making that journey. Historic record. Over a 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across the open border. Historic record. Women and children were sex trafficked. An historic record. No unsuspected terrorists came to the southern border. An historic record. Yeah, they broke records. They were killing Americans at record numbers. They were killing aliens at record numbers. And that's not to mention that on an average day, 70% of agents were off the line, off patrol, because they're busy taking care of this humanitarian crisis that they created on purpose. It wasn't mismanagement. It wasn't incompetence. It was by design. So what does President Trump do? First of all, promises made, promises kept. So President Trump, when he called me up to come back, I came out of retirement twice for this president because this president is the greatest president in my lifetime. As a border guy, a national security guy, an immigration guy, I say that from the bottom of my heart. The data proves it. No one's done it better. I've worked for 6 presidents, 10 administrations. No one even comes close to the success of President Trump. So right now, because of President Trump's leadership, we have the most secure border in the history of this nation. So the president called me up the second time. I was actually out to dinner with my wife, and right after the election, and we're having dinner, and my phone's sitting on the table, and all of a sudden it rang and it says POTUS. My wife says, "Oh my God, you're not going to go back again, are you?" I said, "Hey, let's see what he wants." I call him up, and he said, "That's what he said." First thing he said, "You've been bitching about it for 4 years. You want to come fix it?" So, how do you say no to that, right? So I came back in, and she goes, "Well," I said, "Well, get ready for another ride. I'm going back." And I did. He said, on that conversation, he said 3 things to me. "I need you to do 3 things, Tom. I need you to secure the border. I need you to run a mass deportation operation. I need you to find these missing children." That's the 3 things he gave me. I told him, I said, "Look, we'll lock the border down in 2 months. because we did it in Trump 45. We can brush off the plans. I had a few other ideas to add to that plan. We'll lock it down in 2 months. He says, great, make it a month. That's all right. I says, mass deportation, no problem there, because the last administration had over 10 million legal aliens in this country. So we got plenty of people to go find. We can get that done. I said, but the children, sir, it's not going to be easy. Because I know that under the last administration, they were released to unvetted sponsors. Their number one goal is push these kids out as soon as they could so there's no overcrowding. Same they did with the aliens, push them out, send them to their cities, because the last thing they want is the images of overcrowding at the border, overcrowding in any facilities, because that tells a story. They don't want that story told, so move people as quick as possible. So look, most secure border in history, check, done. Number 2, mass deportations. The first year under President Trump, almost 1 million people were removed. No president even come close to that. So check. And despite what the media says, 60 to 70% of everybody we arrest is a criminal, which means they're pending criminal charges or they have a criminal conviction. Now, there's some say we should be arresting everybody. Well, we are. But when you got a public safety threat here and a non-public safety threat there, you always got to get that guy first. He's the biggest danger to our communities. But I'd rather have it as 60 criminal and 40 non-criminal than have it 40 non-criminal and 60, non-criminal. It's always better to have more criminals, because what we're doing every day, we remove a public safety threat, we're making this country safe again. So we had a record historic year with deportations, but now we got 10,000 more agents on board, or it should be on board by the end of next month. Wait till next year. The third thing, the children. Under President Trump's leadership, first of all, under the last administration, nearly 500,000 children were smuggled into this country, separated from their parents, put in hands of criminal cartels, and released to unvetted sponsors. The old Secretary of HHS, Becerra, he stood on stage numerous times and was bragging about how quick these kids get released from custody. Shame on him. Because let me tell you what we found out. Many of the addresses provided by the sponsors didn't exist. We're out there looking for these kids, and the address is a supermarket, a parking lot, a church, shopping mall. Many of the IDs provided by the sponsors were fraudulent. Home checks weren't done to verify that that person lived at this address and it's a place where a child could be raised. They didn't vet the sponsors properly. They didn't vet anybody else in the household. Under President Trump, 45, not only did we vet the sponsor, we vetted everybody in that household to make sure there's not a predator or criminal in that household. We have found that a single male had 18 children assigned to him. I knew this would be tough, and I told the president, we can find you. You own a car, you own a home, you pay bills, you pay utility bills, you got a credit card. You all have a digital footprint. We can find you. How do you find a child that don't have a digital footprint? And I told the president, I know for a fact, because I've been screaming about it for 4 years, that we got to count on the digital footprint of the sponsor. And when they provide false identity, false addresses, they weren't vetted, the home checks weren't done, we can't verify who these people are, that digital footprint's going to be a mess. And it has been. But under President Trump's leadership, we have already found 147,000 of these children. Now, many of these children were safe with their families, just hiding out because they don't want to be deported. But many, too many, were victims of sex trafficking and forced labor. So I don't want to hear another damn word about President Trump being inhumane. He's saving lives every day. There's been studies done that 31% of women, these studies are done by independent groups, up to 31% of women that make that journey coming to the United States get sexually assaulted. 31% admitted they got sexually assaulted making that journey. If 31 admitted it, how many is that number really? So when President Trump has illegal immigration down 97%, how many women aren't being raped? How many children aren't dying making that journey? How many known suspected terrorists aren't coming into the country? How many pounds of fentanyl isn't coming across the border to kill Americans? President Trump is saving thousands of lives every month, but no one wants to talk about it. I'm talking about it. And we're not going to stop talking about it. And the media, you can keep writing all the hit pieces you want on me. I don't care. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care I'm not running a popularity contest, so write what you want, but Tom Homan's going to stay. I'm not going anywhere, and we're going to keep pushing the rubber. We're going to make this country safe again. We're going to secure our border, and we're going to be a nation of laws. President Trump, let me say this. I'm sick and tired of reading about the evil man in the White House. I have spent so much time with this president, whether it's on Air Force One, in the Oval Office, at Mar-a-Lago, doing trips together, whatever it is. I started in 1984. I spent a career as a special agent, criminal investigator. You learn how to study people. And I'm telling you, I respect President Trump as much as I do my own dad. Because I know what's inside him. I know where his heart's at. I've been with him, and I've never met anybody that loves this country so much as that man. Now, look, is he perfect? No. If you want the president to be perfect, you better wait for the second coming of Jesus, because I've never met a perfect man in my life. I'm proud to work for him, because I know when it comes to border security, national security, enforcing our laws in this country, having the backs of the men and women of law enforcement, no one's done it better. Nobody. And I'm going to end with this. I say I got 2.5 minutes left. To the media, stop attacking the members of ICE. These are I want you to know the men and women of ICE who I was when. Look, I wore that Border Patrol uniform. I was an ICE agent. When I was a director of ICE, I didn't ask any of the 20,000 men and women that worked for me to do anything that I didn't do myself. I know what these people deal with. I know the death threats are up 8,000%. I know that personally. That's why I'm surrounded by security detail. I got 24/7. I can't even go to the grocery store without security detail. But to the haters and cartel members who threaten me, come get some, because I'm tired of you. President Trump will wipe the criminal cartels, the drug cartels. He's playing the away game, which is smart. We've been playing the home game for decades. Now President Trump's taking a fight to them in the away game, and what a difference he's making. Fentanyl deaths have decreased significantly. Drugs from this country's decreased significantly. I think President Trump, by the time he leaves office, will wipe these criminal drug cartels off the face of the earth. But the death threats aren't going to stop me. But, you know, I'm lucky. I have a security detail. The men and women of ICE don't. And I know the threats they're dealing with. Not only are they being doxxed, their spouses are being doxxed. Their children are being doxxed. It's amazing what's going on right now. I just can't believe it. The hate for these men and women. But the men and women of ICE are just like you. They're moms and dads, or sons and daughters, or brothers and sisters who strap a gun to their hip every day, put a Kevlar vest on to go arrest the worst of the worst in this nation. And they're getting attacked by members of Congress who want to call them the Gestapo and the secret police. Well, I'll tell you what. They're enforcing the law that you wrote, so if they're a racist for enforcing that, what's that make you? You wrote the law. My wife told me don't go on the stage pissed off today, but I can't help it because it's just who I am. Look, I take this personal. I take it personal because what President Trump is doing is saving lives. I've stood in the back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead people at my feet, including a 5-year-old boy that they all baked to death. I got to the crime scene. They're all in underwear trying to get some relief from the 170-degree heat in the back of a steel truck with no air. Think of the way these people died. I've gotten on my knees to talk to little girls as young as 9 that were raped multiple times by members of a cartel. And when you get on your knees, you talk to a little girl that everything innocent and pure and has been ripped from her. That's what happens when you have an unsecured border. Well, guess what? There's no little 9-year-old girl right now that anybody's getting on their knees and talking to because President Trump has closed the border down. I'll leave you with this. Secure borders saves lives. Secure borders protects our national security. No one's done it better than President Trump, and we ain't finished yet. God bless you.
I just gotta talk over the music real quick. This is live right now. We were waiting on this one, so great timing there. I gotta interrupt the music just a smidgen. Hello guys. Hello Lisa. Hello Christian Moore. Hello everyone. Hello Scared Sub. Good to see all of you. Yeah, this is at the Faith and Freedom Coalition. It's part of the 250 Freedom 250 festivities. And so it should be pretty good. Look at everyone filming. Why are you filming? The TV people already. I'm telling you, people are like not enjoying life anymore. Everywhere you go, cell phones recording, and it's like, yeah, everyone's got a recording of this. It's all over. It's on YouTube already. And taking the moment, guys. Hello, Jennifer Flynn. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hello to people over on Rumble side. Hello, Jillian. Hello, Campbell. Good to see you. And hello to Shepherding Shepherd over on Foxhole and Ghost Rider, Possum and Ron Whittel. Ron L. Witt. Boy, I'm dyslexic today, aren't I? Anyhow, how's everyone doing? Happy Friday. Who here's aping on Wendy's? The Wendy's stock. Yeah, you know how they push GameStop? They're doing that right now with Wendy's, and it's at $7.77. And if it closes out the day above $8, it should there should be a short squeeze, just like they did with GameStop. So there's a lot of fake stories right now about Wendy's and how awful it is, and They're trying to push the stock price down. And the apes are trying to push it up at $7.79 now. So that's what's going on today. You know what's funny? Michael Saylor's STRC is at an all-time low, but crypto's going up. They're trying to pull people away from Wendy's to keep money away from the Wendy's stock so that it doesn't shut down another hedge fund. Anyways, here we go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to thank Ralph for the introduction. He's a great guy and friend of mine for a long time. And thank you to all of the true American patriots of Faith and Freedom Coalition. You've been with me from the beginning. And pretty much like nobody else, I don't think can top you. You were just great right from the beginning. You got it. You understood what we had to do, and we got it done, and we're continuing to get it done at levels that nobody's seen before. With the help of many people in this room, 18 months ago, we won the most consequential election victory in American history. Winning all 7 swing states, the Electoral College by 312 to 226, the popular vote, and 86% of all counties in America, 2,700 to 525. That's called a big victory. The Faith and Freedom Coalition was with us every step of the way. You knocked on 97 million doors. It's true. Ralph actually told me 10 million, so I had checked. It was 9.7 million. You reached 18 million voters. Think of that. Voters of faith. You sent 28 million text messages and made 10 million phone calls to help us win a mandate like no other administration in modern history. It was a mandate like we have not seen before. And together we saved our country, and we saved religious freedom in America. We saved religious. It was going down. And you've always stood with me, and I will always stand with you. I'll always remember it. I'll always remember how hard you worked and your spirit. I especially want to thank Pastor Paula White, who's with us. Paula, wherever you may be. Thank you, Paula. Great person. Director of the White House Faith Office, Jenny Korn. Terrific. Jenny, thank you very much. Bishop Kevin Koberis. Where is Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. Good job. Nice looking man. President of the National Hispanic Christian Leadership Conference, Pastor Sam Rodriguez, who's been with me from the beginning. This place is crowded. I remember this place not so long ago. Hopefully, we'll have a little more pleasant. We're going to have a little more pleasant experience. I remember this room very well. A friend of mine who has been just incredible, Dr. Alveda King. Doctor, thank you. Thank you, darling. She's been with me also from the beginning. So many from the beginning. You can tell so much. The ones from the beginning, I don't know, they tend to be the ones, they're the ones they stay, and they stay like nobody. And we appreciate all of those people. An ambassador to the United Nations who's doing a really great job. Mike Waltz, he's around here someplace. Mike, doing a really good job. And just over 1 week from now, we will celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, marking 2.5 centuries of glorious American freedom. And thanks to the extraordinary work and incredible devotion of patriots like those people in this very, very crowded ballroom, today I can proudly report that on the edge of our 250th year, America is back. It's back. It's back. I believe better than ever before. And I'm especially pleased to say that, likewise, religion is back in our country, bigger and stronger than it has been in many, many years. Been reading all of those reports. Religion's really, it's going up. If that were stock, we'd be very, very rich, all of us. It's been great to watch. And as I've said before, to be a great nation, you have to have religion and you have to have God in your nation. If you don't have that, it just doesn't seem to work out, does it? And we have it. We have religion and we have God now. Remember when I first started, 2016, they wanted to take the Christmas out of Christmas. Remember that? We ended that little drive, but we ended a lot of other drives too. From the very beginning of our country, American greatness has been forged by people of faith, and the very first settlers who set foot upon this new world at Jamestown got off their ship, raised up a cross, and bowed down to the Lord in prayer. It was faith that strengthened the Minutemen and who stood up at Lexington Green and Concord Bridge in Philadelphia 250 years ago. Next week, our founders invoked the Creator 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. 4 times. I wasn't mentioned once. I'm very upset. Not once. Faith pushed the pioneers to journey west. Faith led Americans to abolish slavery, and faith built this country into the most exceptional nation in the history of the world. It was going very badly a couple of years ago, very badly, but it's back really strong. But we have to be very careful because bad things are happening. Can I watch what's happening? And we're going to be discussing that in just a minute. Americans have always deeply believed in the promise of Christ's words in the Gospel of Matthew. With God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible, right? All things. That's why as we prepared to enter the 250th year last month, tens of thousands of patriots came together on our national mall, and we officially rededicated America as one nation under God. And we're not changing. We're not changing. And we always have been, and we always will be. We're not going to let them take it away. But as we celebrate this anniversary, we must also remember that our country could have been marking this occasion under very different circumstances. The last administration carried out a reign of persecution and repression against Christians and people of faith like America has never seen before. It's terrible. They turned a nation founded on freedom for believers into a place where Catholics were targeted by the FBI, where pro-life grandmothers were put in jail for praying, and where members of our military were thrown out of the armed forces for their religious beliefs. The radicals responsible for these offenses would have loved nothing more than to mark America's 250th anniversary by driving God from our public square once and for all. They wanted to do that. I don't know how anybody could vote for these people. They were so bad, they were so evil, and yet in many ways incompetent, certainly incompetent on policy, open borders, transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, just grossly incompetent ideologies, and so many more. But they did not get that chance because they lost an election in a landslide, and we won an election in a landslide. And while I am in the White House, I will defend Christians and all Americans of faith 100%. You have it 100%, and you've seen it already. So upon taking office, I created the first ever Presidential Commission on Religious Liberty, led by Texas Lieutenant Governor, a great guy. I don't know if he's here. I know he's coming over to my office in a little while, a thing called the Oval Office, beautiful office. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and my friend, Dr. Ben Carson. I don't know, so many people in this room, I don't know if they're here, they may be here, but they're two great people. And later today at the White House, they will present me with their official report and recommendations to ensure that America continues to uphold the first right in our Constitution, and that's religious liberty. We have to uphold religious liberty, most important thing. On day one of my administration, I ended the weaponization of law enforcement against religious believers. You know that. I pardoned the Christians Joe Biden threw in jail for saying prayers. He threw them in jail. You know, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. The guy's grossly incompetent. But he was surrounded by very smart, in some cases brilliant, lunatics. I got rid of the sinister Johnson Amendment so that pastors can speak the truth at their pulpits. We created the very, very popular White House Faith Office, first time that's ever happened. And I set up an official Department of Justice task force to eradicate anti-Christian biases. Anti-Christian bias, who would think? At a high level, too, although it's fading, going to fade fast. That task force just produced a new documentary revealing the abuses of religious freedom that they uncovered. It's called By Dawn's Early Light, and it's out right now, and it's really supposed to be, I have not seen it, I cannot tell a lie, I have not seen it, but I've heard about it, and I hear it's great, and I will see it, I hope soon. I also signed
What the heck happened? The audio just went mute. Well, I didn't do that, that's for sure. I'd fast forward it, but we're already live. There's nothing I can do about that. That sucks.
We're protecting our churches and synagogues by prosecuting mobs of radical left lunatics and agitators who try to harass and intimidate people in their places of worship not so long ago. And to help parents send their children to schools that share their values, I signed the largest expansion of school choice in the history of our country, including in Texas. And in my direction, the Department of Education issued new guidance protecting the right to prayer in public schools. That was a big thing. And these are all things that we were, they fought us very strongly, very, very strongly. Hard to believe they'd fight us on that, but we had to fight the good battle, but we won every time. We slashed federal funding for any school that pushes transgender insanity on our youth. We expanded the Mexico City policy to stop taxpayer dollars from being used to promote radical gender ideology around the world. Radical gender ideology, it is. I made it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. That wasn't too tough. That was sort of an easy one, but we have a man running in Texas who thinks there are 6 genders. I don't know what. He's going to have to discuss that with us. Can you believe it? 6 genders. And we officially banned the chemical and surgical mutilation of our children. And now we have to pass the Save America Act to protect our sacred American elections. Have to pass it. Hard to believe, right? Hard to believe that we even have to fight for this. We have to fight for everything. Nothing comes easy. Nothing. All voters must show photo ID. Not so bad, right? All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Is that so hard? You're fighting the Democrats and a few Republicans who are doing a tremendous disservice to this country. We have a few Republicans that are fighting it. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. You should call her and tell her to get on the ball. She'll never win another election, I can tell you. She's got to vote. It's called the Save America Act. It's voter ID, ideally photo ID, right? So you can look and you can say, oh, that person's okay. Or, for lots of reasons, that person is not the same person. We want proof of citizenship. And we want no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, and military deployment or travel. We'll be very judicious. Look what's happening in California, where the ballots still aren't in. They're still not. Can you believe it? Weeks afterwards. You know what's happening? They're cheating. The kid won, or he was certainly in the top 2. I don't know him. I never met him. Spencer Pratt. And he went away quietly. We didn't go away quietly, but he shouldn't go away quietly. He should protest because it was, in my very strong opinion, that was a rigged election. That kid should be in the runoffs. The woman who edged him out after like a long time, days and days. And then you'd hear reports, Spencer Pratt is not doing so well, even though he was strongly in the lead. And then you hear, Spencer Pratt has a 20% chance of being in the runoff. I said, they just rigged the election. And then you hear that a woman who nobody ever heard of is in the runoff, not him. And then they tried to hurt Steve Hilton, too. And I called the U.S. attorney and I said, you have to look into this because Steve Hilton did great. He's running for governor. And you could see it. The election was there. He was doing great. Then day after day, you'd hear reports about vote counting. They go on for weeks. You know, Colombia just had an election. The country of Colombia, 30 million voters. And I endorsed. I'm endorsed. We do so well with endorsements, like almost 100% success. But I endorsed somebody running, El Tigre. El Tigre. I liked him. You know why? Because he likes me. I don't know. He used to talk about Trump. I like President Trump. I don't know. How can you not let? So I endorsed him. I didn't know. He was in way down the list. He was not going to win, no chance of winning. I endorsed him and he won. Did he just announce he won? But think of it. They had 30 million votes. By 9:30 in the evening, every single vote was counted, and there were no complaints. He won. Every vote was counted. Here we are in California. They're going to go for weeks and weeks and weeks. And you know what they do? They cheat. How many votes do we need? How many votes? That's why they take their time. How many votes do we need? Okay, here they are. Honestly, it's terrible. We're a third world country with elections. And we will also enshrine a permanent law that says very easily and succinctly, no men in women's sports and no transgender surgery for our children. Never forget, if the radical left ever gets the chance, they will bring all of this insanity right back at levels that you've never seen before. You will never have seen anything like it if they ever get their chance. And they're trying like hell. I call them the Democrats. I exchanged an E for a U. The Democrats. And it's trending number one, the word Democrat. I just can't believe I didn't think of it 9 years ago. I should have thought. The Democrats, they are horrible. They want to resume the transgender mutilation of our children. They want to restart the war on Christians and churches. And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats. They want to completely destroy the traditional American way of life. Communism is very easy to sell. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it. Just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. But you'll start living in squalor. You'll live in squalor. There will be no food. There will be no housing. There will be no military. There will be no law and order. There will be no nothing. There will be no nothing. You'll be a third world inhabitant in every way, and everyone will suffer or die. You'll suffer or die. That's what happens. For thousands of years it's been happening by different names. Thousands of years. I'm telling you, I'd be the greatest communist in history. It would be so easy. You wouldn't have to work. You could stay home. The problem is a couple of years go by, the whole place collapses. Always does. Always has. But I'm sorry to say, but assassinations of those who oppose them is a very important element of their ideology. Assassination's a big deal for them. They're animals. They're animals. In many cases, they're not smart, but in some cases, they are. It's easy for them to get followers because they make promises that they know they can't keep, and the Democrats aren't fighting back. That's why they're dumb. They're not fighting back. They're afraid. I watch Schumer. He's afraid to fight. I watch guys that are pretty normal, and guys that we oppose, they're afraid to fight. The Democrats have taken a tremendous turn left, and many of these people, I looked at some of the people that got elected the other night in New York. These are in many ways stupid people, in some ways and intellectually probably pretty smart, but they're people that want to destroy our country. They hate our country. They hate our people. They hate the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is in big trouble because this isn't stopping with New York. This is going on. Too easy to get elected, giving everything away. Too easy to get elected. Very dangerous. But you'll soon have nothing left. That's the problem. In many ways, they're allowing them to just go their own way, do your own. We don't want to take a chance on saying anything bad because we're afraid we're going to lose our jobs if we do. They're afraid they're going to lose their election if they even think about saying anything bad about this new breed of sick people. They're not smart enough or tough enough to fight the plague that's happening. It's happening right before your very eyes. If they fought them the way they fight Republicans or the way they fight me, they'd be victorious. They didn't beat us. but they'd be victorious against the communists. But they don't have the courage to do so, so they're turning communists themselves. It's becoming a communist party. These are not social democrats. These are hardcore, godless communists. They're godless communists. All communists are godless. They don't believe in God. This is the most serious threat to our country since its existence, in my opinion, 250 years ago. This is a major threat to our country. It isn't something that's easily solved, but with a little love and help, some hard work. Because it's ironic, we're celebrating a very important birthday, our most important birthday so far, 250 years. And instead of speaking about Christ, and instead of speaking about freedom and victories of all different kinds, we're speaking about yet another threat to the foundations of America. These ruthless communists will attack all religions, but in particular Christianity. They always do. They're after Christianity more than any other religion. It seems to be more and more throughout the world, maybe because we're doing so well. I don't know. Maybe if we weren't doing well. But you see the numbers, how they're growing, how the churches are filling up. It's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, look, it happens to be during my presidency, so I don't mind taking credit for it. I'm very proud. But a lot of great things are happening. All communist countries attack religions violently. It's part of their deal. As you know, we recently struck Nigeria and largely ended the slaughter of great Christian populations. They have a great Christian population. They were being butchered. Thousands and thousands of people were being killed. Children, women, old people, just being slaughtered, hatched to death. They know that if they go further, the attack will be far greater, and that they don't want to really get involved anymore so much. You know, we hit them very hard. We knocked out their leader. We knocked out their second leader and their third leader. Sounds a little bit like Iran, actually. That's all about a different cause that we have to do, because we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Can't let it happen. So I'm saving Christians throughout the world, even though we are not in those various countries where you read about this. But they'd like to make our country just like those countries. That's where they started. They started right where we are right now. But I'm saving them by hitting these terrorists very violently and very hard. We're hitting them very hard by the greatest weapons on earth, taking them out. We know where they are. We hunt them down and we take them out. Think of it. They go into a village and they just kill everybody. It's like crazy. They will close your churches in this country. They go communist, and they're trying to. They will kill your people, and that's what they're about. They want to end religion. They have to end religion because their ideology doesn't work if you have strong religion, people like you that are so incredible and love our country so much and love God. This is the greatest threat to our country since its founding, in my opinion, 250 years ago, what's happening right now. It's the greatest threat. People don't look at that. Well, oh, 3 people were elected. No, it's many more than 3 people. And the other people are being swayed because they don't have the sense to see what's happening. They don't have the sense. Their followers are not leaders, even though they're politicians, in some cases successful ones. For the first time in history, the powerful Rent Stabilization Board, as an example, that sets rents in New York City, just happened today. They've done it for years and years, and they've been very far left. They're run by Democrats, and they give landlords a hard time for years and years. It's called rent control. They give landlords a hard time, but they always give some increases so they can survive. But they just came out, first time ever, with a ruling, 0 rent increases for landlords, 0 for the next 2 years, despite the fact that energy, supplies, real estate taxes, and just about everything else has gone up. They're supposed to allow you to have that. 0. They're giving them none. They're basically confiscating their property. And the one representative for the landlords who's on the board, I think they have 8 or 9 people on the board, and you had one who was representing one out of like 8. But at least you had somebody. But that person walked off in disgust, walked off and got booed. Mayor Mamdani, who came to the White House and seems like a nice guy, but he said he was going to do this in his campaign. Nobody thought he was serious. He said he was going to make sure that people don't have a rent increase, even though energy went up. It's going to come down. It's coming down fast right now. I hope you're watching what's happening. We had a low number just now, $69 a barrel. That was, some people said it was going to be 350 by now. 69, it's going to be 300, 350. Never hit those numbers at all, even in the height of it all. But what the mayor doesn't say is that these buildings will soon turn into ghettos and slums, and that everybody will continue leaving New York. And as this spreads throughout the country, very much like an uncontrollable form of cancer, the country itself will be taken down. It will be third world, strictly third world. And it's happened many times before to very big and very powerful countries. But it's not going to happen to the United States of America. No way. Because communism really is the past and freedom is the future. That's what we are. All we want is freedom. Freedom is going to be, freedom gets you everything. Everyone needs to get out and vote in the midterms. We have to win this election. This election is very vital. If we don't, everything that we've gotten so much. I mean, religious liberty, but we've gotten so much. Our military is the strongest in the world. I built it during my first term, strongest in the world. And people respect us again. They respect us maybe like never before. We were laughed at a year and a half ago. We were laughed at. And now we're the most respected nation anywhere in the world. And in our 250th year, we will make our nation stronger and safer, better, more prosperous, and more faithful. Very important, more faithful than ever before. Today, we have the largest economy on earth. We're expanding at a degree and to a degree that nobody thought possible. They never thought what we're doing for the last year and a half. It's only a year and a half. What we're doing for the last year and a half, nobody thought was possible. We have the strongest military on earth. We have the most powerful technology on earth. We're winning on AI. We're winning with automobile manufacturing. Do you see how many plants are coming back into the United States? Tariffs. If they don't come in, they have to pay massive tariffs. Make your car outside, but you have to pay massive tariffs to come in. If you build your car in the United States using U.S. workers, our great American workers, you don't have any tariffs to pay. So they're all pouring in. It should have been done years ago by other presidents. We have the greatest culture on earth, and above all, we have the greatest people on earth. We do. We have the greatest people. But think of it. I was with the King of Saudi Arabia, and he said, Mr. President, 2 years ago, your country was dead. It was a dead country. And today, you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's amazing what's happened. We were laughed at. We had a man who couldn't speak, couldn't think. He didn't know what the hell was happening. Kept falling down all over the place. If he was standing here now, he would have been off the stage before he started. But if he was standing here now, he wouldn't know how to get off the stage. I had to lead him off the stage. It was a disaster, and it was a rigged election. But we did it again, and we got it right. Too big to rig. We made it too big to rig. It was a rigged election. And look what happened because it was a rigged election. 25 million people came in, many criminals, murderers, 11,808 murderers, more than 50% of who created more than one murder, murdered more than one person. These are not going to be the citizens of our country. There's not a thing you can do to change that. But drug dealers at the highest level, the worst, some of the worst people on earth came in through open borders. Joe Biden's, but really it was the ideology's open border policy where everybody could come in. They came from all over the world. They emptied their prison populations into the United States of America. Think of that. But we're getting them out. We're getting them out faster than anybody can imagine. And we're going after the bad ones first. We're getting them out last week. We signed a historic agreement to accomplish what no president has ever been able to accomplish before, that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to let that happen. And thanks to the power and skill of the United States Armed Forces, Iran today has no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-aircraft capability, no radar, virtually no manufacturing. Their drone capacity has been cut by 82%. Their missile capacity has been cut by 80%. Their rocket launchers have been cut by 90%. Their leadership has been killed a first time, and their leadership has been killed a second time. And nobody wants to be the leader of Iran anymore. They said, who would like to be the president? And everyone said, no, thank you. It's amazing. And then the fake news, like the New York Times, which is a failing publication. But the fake news, ABC, so bad. ABC television network, fake ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. They actually said for a little while, it didn't play well, that Iran was much stronger today than it was 4 months ago. Think of it. They have no Navy. They have no... They said they're stronger. They're dying to make a deal. They're giving us a lot. They should have been done over the 47-year period that they've reigned with terror. And that's what they did. They reigned with terror. When you see a young man or woman walking around without legs or without arms or a face that was obliterated, it happened from the roadside bomb. That was the creation of General Soleimani, who I killed in my first term. And that was a big killing. He was a mad genius, but he was going to knock out 5 of our military installations. I found out about it. And in all fairness, Israel was supposed to do it with us. And the night before that took place, we heard from Israel that they will not be doing it. They don't want to do it. And I said to a couple of generals that we had who were very good, I said, what do you think, generals? Can we do it? Because we worked on for 30 days, worked on it with Israel. They said, we'll do it, sir. Can we do it as well? We'll do it better. And he was dead the next day. He was dead in the valley of death. He died in the valley of death. We had him all. We knew when he was coming, where he was coming, how he was getting there. We knew everything, but we lost our partner. I don't blame him that much, to be honest with you, because it's tough stuff. But they told us the night before they won't be doing it. We did it ourselves, and we did it so incredibly well. We also took out the head of Iraq's ISIS division, and we took out both of them by luck with Iraq. But had he lived, because he was a brilliant general, very sick man mentally, but he was a brilliant general, it may have been a different story. I don't think so. I think we would have knocked the hell out of him whether he was there or anybody else was there. But he was a brilliant general. It's one of the biggest things ever to happen in the Middle East. The killing of Soleimani. People have said it's the biggest thing to happen in 100 years because he was a dominant force. I actually think that Khomeini and all of the people in Iran were happy about it because they were afraid of him too. Over the past few weeks, the stock market and your 401ks skyrocketed upward like pretty much nobody's seen before. Oil prices are plummeting downward. And the world is a much safer place. We had to take that detour to knock out Iran. If we didn't do that, and we still have a fight. They have some capability, not much. They're not winning or anything, but they have some capability. They can still shoot. They shot a drone yesterday at a big ship going into the Hormuz Strait. They shot 4 of them. We knocked down 3 of them. One of them, I guess, we didn't miss it. Nobody saw it coming, and it hit a ship and did some damage. Can't do that stuff. But very soon we're going to be at $2.50 gasoline. I was in Iowa making a speech the day before we did the attack. And again, we had to turn it around. Everything was going so well. It's like, you're doing so well. We have the best economy. Everything's great. And I brought my people into the room, my financial people and other people. I said, listen, we just set a record in the stock market. We just set a record in every single thing, including 401ks. Your 401ks, most of you have 401ks, are at the highest they've ever been, everything. But this was true 3.5 months ago, before the attack. Everything was good. We had records and everything. We were doing great. And I said,
I hate to tell you, but we're going to have to take a detour. We're going to have to go to war or go to a military operation, which my people would prefer that I use as a term because war means things that they don't like. But whether you call it war or not, it is what it is. And we're going to go down to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we're going to have to hit them very hard. And don't forget, when Barack Hussein Obama did the JCPOC, if you look at that, Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? He was a disaster. He was a disaster. He gave them $1.7 billion in cash, $1.7 billion in cash, and tens of billions of dollars. Gave it to Iran. Thought he could buy their friendship, and it was just the opposite. They used the money and they built missiles and everything else. And I terminated the JCPOA. It was his agreement. It was the Iran nuclear deal. It was a disaster. By the way, it expired a long time ago, but I terminated it long before it expired. If I didn't do that, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon. If I didn't send the B-2 bombers in 10 months ago, they would have had a nuclear weapon. We obliterated that nuclear dust. Very important. And then you wouldn't have Israel. Israel would be gone. I know you have a lot of good fans of Israel in this room. And Israel would have been gone, and probably the Middle East would have been gone. And they could have taken a shot. We would have wiped them out pretty quick, but they could have taken a chunk of us too. But in my first term, I created the greatest economy in the history of the world. The first term was a great success and rebuilt the military, did everything. But now we're blowing it away. We're doing much better this time. And again, we did have to make that excursion. How would you like to be given the best numbers we've ever had as a country and tell people, guess what, we're going to war? And nobody in the room knew what I was talking about because it wasn't their thing. And I said, we got to stop them from having a nuclear weapon. Because you want to see problems? Let a crazy country have a nuclear weapon. You'll see problems like you've never seen before. The stock market has set 73 all-time record highs since the election. And more Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. That's pretty good. In January 2025, we inherited the worst, most dangerous, most wide open and insecure border in history. I actually think in the history of the world, I don't think it's just here. You could just walk into the country, and again, they were letting prison populations, they were taking buses and dropping them off at our border, and people coming out, murderers coming out of prison, drug dealers, the worst people. They made our criminals look like nice people. That's the only thing nice. Our criminals, for the first time, looked very nice by comparison to these people. But they dropped 25 million people over 4 years into our country. And it's the single hardest job I have, getting them out. We're getting them out pretty rapidly, but it's a very hard thing. But think of it, prison populations from the Congo, from all parts of South America, from all parts of the world, were taken in, driven through Mexico, and dropped off in our border, and they would walk right into our country. And we've quickly turned it into the strongest and most secure border in the history. We have the strongest border we've ever had now. And for the past 13 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. 0. We have 0. And those are the numbers, they report them. And they're taken by sort of a left kind of a group. The stats, if anybody did, they'd like to report them. But we have 0. And they don't even try because they know they're probably not going to get in, so they're not going to make this very dangerous march. We're saving a lot of lives. Because in those caravans, remember I named them caravans, they'd have 25,000 people, sometimes more. But they'd come up from South America and all through Mexico. They'd go all through. And they go through jungles in Colombia. Really tough jungles, too. Dangerous jungles. And women would die, and women would be raped. Remember when I said they get raped, crime, murder, and everyone, my first speech was controversial. When I announced I was running, everyone said, what do you mean raped? What I said was peanuts compared to what happened. And the women would come up and they'd die, they'd be raped. A lot of people would die on those caravans. The journeys up they call them journeys through hell. Because they had to go through jungles, they had to go through very dangerous areas. And the people that got here would just walk right into our country. We had no idea who they were. Nobody would even stand there and check. They just came in. Come on in. Come on in. This was Sleepy Joe Biden's ideology that was forced on him by much smarter people than him that wanted to destroy our country because he had no clue. But with the help of our law enforcement heroes in 2025, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded in our country's history 125 years ago. Think of that, think of that, the year 1900, that was before my father. My father would hate me saying that because it's a long time ago, but that was before my father was born. I had a wonderful father and mother, and family. But the lowest murder rate in 125 years. Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest, most beautiful cities in the country. And just a little while ago, it was a killing machine. Think of that. A year and a half ago, Washington was a very unsafe city. Now it's one of the safest cities in the country. It's one of the most beautiful cities. Doug Burgum and myself and a whole group of people did a great job on the monuments and fountains. And the reflecting pool was so beautiful. They tried to destroy it. They cut it up with a box knife and tried to destroy it. And it's in great shape now. They're terrible. They're vandals. They've caught 6 of them, I guess, maybe more. They've got others in line to be caught. But we just inspected it. We'll fix it right after the 4th of July. Got to let the water out, just fix it. But we caught them. They would cut it, and they would grab this very expensive and very good material, totally waterproof, and they rip it. These people are sick. They ripped a scar 350 feet long through the side of the reflecting pool. These are the people we're dealing with. These are the people that want to destroy our country. But we've invested a record $1 trillion in the United States Armed Forces, and we're going this year for $1.5 trillion, all made in the USA. And something that's so exciting, the recruitment. You know, if you go back a year and a half, 2 years ago, you could not get anybody to join the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force. You couldn't get anybody to join. They had tremendous recruitment problems, but now recruitment in every branch of our military is setting records. 18 months ago, we had tremendous shortages and we couldn't fill them up. We were never going to fill them up. That included police and firemen. We couldn't get policemen and women. We couldn't get firemen and women. Anything with a uniform because they were ashamed of our country, because we had people that were not respected. You have to respect the president. If you don't respect the president, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. They had no respect. And now we have waiting lists. Now you can't get into the military. Literally, we went from the worst recruitment numbers ever in 1 year to the best recruitment numbers ever. And it all started on that beautiful day, November 5th, right? A thing called Election Day. And as soon as we won, before I even got to do anything, those numbers started going through the roof. People love our country again, and they have spirit. You always loved it, but you were down, you were depressed. You were not feeling too good about our country. Especially you, as people with a great religion and a fervor for Christianity and religion, you should be depressed. You should have been, but now you're riding high. But we have to be careful. We don't want to lose it. We've got to win the midterms. We've got to win the election coming up, and we're gonna be in good shape. But you have to expose them. If you don't expose them, I mean, I stand here and I expose them. Some people don't do it right. They say they're going to get free rent. Well, that's okay to say, but everyone's going to vote for them, except for a few of the people in this room. But you have to say they're going to get free rent. But in 2 years, everything is going to collapse and you're going to live in squalor. When you say that, you can beat the free rent. You can beat the fact that they're going to take your house away and give it to somebody else, which is essentially what they'd like to do. But it's happened so many times over the years with really powerful countries, and we're not going to let it happen. So we have the strongest and most powerful military anywhere in the world. I built it in my first term, using it a little bit in my second term. And we're once again using it to defend America's interests and American values. Look at what happened in Venezuela. We have a great, and by the way, we're helping Venezuela. They had a tremendous earthquake, a lot of people killed, and unbelievable, right in Caracas. and we have a lot of people over there helping. But Venezuela's been fantastic. We've had a great relationship. It was a one-day war. We hit them so hard, and one-day war. Now we've taken out millions of barrels of oil, and we've paid for the war many times over. But just as importantly, they are doing better than they've ever done. They're making more money than they've ever done. They've never made the money that they're making now. And it's really, I mean, outside of what happened last night with that was terrible what happened. It was a big earthquake, knocked down buildings. But outside, it was really, it's a happy country again. The people are happy. They're dancing in the streets. The people running it are doing a very good job. The United States has never been stronger. We have never been wealthier. We've never been prouder to be an American. Since 1776, America's story has been a tale of freedom, overcoming oppression, good defeating evil, and faith overcoming every challenge and every foe. We had everybody was winning, and we're going to continue stronger, maybe stronger. One generation, think of it, just one generation after our war of independence, the British tried, they really tried hard to conquer America in the War of 1812. That didn't work out too well. But they failed, and the cause of freedom won, and it continues to win. The War of Survival ultimately gave America our national anthem and our Star-Spangled Banner. Many Americans know the story of Francis Scott Key writing the words of the anthem and watched the flag under attack, and he wrote those beautiful words. But what few realize is that the very same poem also inspired our national motto. The fourth verse of the song ends in these words, and this be our motto, in God we trust. In God we trust. And as you know, the Democrats want to end that. They don't want the words, in God we trust. They want to have that stricken. They go to court. They take us to court. We're never changing that. We'll fight for that. We're not changing that. In God we trust. Better believe it. So today, on the threshold of our 250th year, this room is proof that America is still a nation that lives by those magnificent words, in God we trust. With the help of everyone here today and Americans of faith all across this land, we will continue to protect the promise of the Declaration of Independence, one of which actually is in my office, in the Oval Office. So we cherish it. We will continue to defend our values, our traditions, our faith, and our freedom. And as we enter the golden age of America, that's what we have. This is the golden age. We've never had anything like it. We have factories all over the country. We have car plants, AI plants, all sorts of plants. Our businesses are expanding. Our numbers are unbelievable. Remember that we've never had a year with so many number one stock markets. Good to have number one, because that affects everybody. That means jobs. That means success. That's good, as we said, for your 401ks. It's good for your stock investments. Everyone's doing well. We have a country that's just the hottest. It just is so hot. And I'm working really hard to make it even better. We're going to get rid of some of the flaws. We're going to make it even better. But the biggest thing we have to do is we have to stop this horrible thread of cancer that's permeating our country called communism. We have to stop it, because that's what it's about. That's what they want to do quietly. And we ask that God will continue to bless the United States of America, and God will bless the United States of America because of people like you. Thank you very much, and happy Independence Day, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So, let's see. We've got quite a bit of people. Anybody on YouTube interested in moving over to Rumble to watch Citizen Vigilante? It's that movie that was banned from Germany. I'll do it today and tomorrow. I was planning to do it tomorrow, but I mean, we could do it both days. I don't have anything to do right now. Anyone, put a 1 in the chat on YouTube if you're interested in watching Citizen Vigilante on Rumble. Because I can't stream it here. I have to shut down YouTube. But yeah, I've got a clear calendar for the next, I don't know, 5 hours up until movie night starts. So we can totally do Citizen Vigilante. We got a lot of ones. Look at that. Looks like we're doing it. Okay, let me copy that over. Hold on, wait. Let's stop that real quick. I know this is gonna sound weird, but I want to process it. So I basically don't like how movies are made. So I run it through but it won't take long. I got a pretty fast computer. So anyways, we'll see you guys over on Rumble. You guys know where to go. Look in the description for the link to my Rumble channel. I'm gonna shut down YouTube and we're gonna watch Citizen and Vigilante there. But first I'm gonna process it so it has a better picture and sound quality, because I generally do not like how movies are made ever. So it'll look and sound a lot better once I'm done with it. It won't take long, just a few minutes. So go take your pee breaks, go get your lunch, make your lunch and stuff like that. I'll see you guys over on Rumble. Goodbye, YouTube. Links in the description, okay? See you on Rumble. Have a good one. Goodbye, YouTube.